chat. I want to start a little bit of carnage in this chat today. All right, we've got 64 people and it's rising. Listen, if you're here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that wonderful bell button for notification of uploads. But let me finish my point. Okay, my issue here is this. I think Dave, the way he handled Lauren, was abysmal. I think if you're going to make a decision to leave, leave, right? And stop palming off the reason why you're leaving her because of your sisters and your mother and your daddy and, sorry, his mother's passed away, so I do apologize, his father and anybody else like that, right? We totally understand that, all right? That is not questionable. You need to stop palming that off and stop being passive aggressive. But what I will say is, how was he supposed to trust her? Let me ask a question to the chat. When is it that Lauren said that she slept with a guy again? Because someone told me that I was lying when I wasn't telling the truth and I should have clipped with the friends. When did she say she slept with that guy again? We're not slut shaming. She can sleep with whoever she wants. I want to know in the chat. Type it in the chat if you're here with me right now. Tell me, when did she say she slept with a guy last? I want to know. When was the last time she told us that she said that she slept with this guy? When was the last time she said she heard from this guy? I want to just tell you a story. Okay, let me tell you a story. I too was on Love is Blind, and when I got onto Love is Blind a couple of seasons ago on the UK version, there was a girl that questioned me and asked me when was the last time I slept with somebody. Now I did tell them I did sleep with the person a week ago. Okay, I said I slept with that girl a week ago. When we got out the pods, the reason why the relationship didn't work is because actually what she found out was the girl was saying that we actually had a situationship, or at least there seemed to be some type of relationship, and I hadn't actually closed off the relationship, and that she was under the impression that there was actually something more about the relationship. Now, she was a little bit crazy because she did Photoshop herself into some of the Love is Blind photos. I don't know why that is, but when I told you she was crazy, you didn't believe me. The girl didn't believe me. She said, a man must make a woman crazy. That's why she does what she does. You know what I'm saying to you? So she didn't believe me, and we didn't work out. Now, would you believe that bull cock and story I just told you? You wouldn't believe me. You know why you wouldn't believe me? Because it's cock and bull. Okay? All right? If I tell you a story that, listen, I didn't even see that person. Her first story actually started in episode 7 when she told him on the boat that actually it was about a month ago. She hadn't been home for a month. Remember she told us that? She told us that she hadn't been home for about a month. Don't worry, I'm going to do a separate breakdown later on, another day. I've got my panelists coming through. But she told us that she had a month ago. She hadn't seen him because obviously she hadn't been back home for a whole month. Then got her friends to lie. Remember I told you that she said if that was her, she was with us at the engagement party and da-da-da-da. Remember I told you that? Yeah? Listen. She was lying all this time, and now we finally found out that actually, yes, no, it wasn't a weekend that she slept with him, but it was a week ago. Hold on, sis, I can't even believe you a week ago. And this is me personally, because actually I've been through a situation where a particular person, when I got cheated on, this thing happened as well. When the person told me it was July, then I found out it was June. Then it wasn't June, it was it was May. Then I found it wasn't May, it was April. And I said, you know what, you can't be believed because you keep shifting that goalpost. You know what I'm saying to you? So am I saying that Lauren's a villain? No. She's a liar, but she's not a villain. Am I saying Dave's a villain? No, but he's a liar. Yes, they're both liars. And they found each other. Both are very dramatic lies. Dave, instead of just taking accountability and saying he don't want to be in this relationship no more, and the fact that his family can't take the fact that she's not a classy chick, because clearly there seems to be some type of social status or something that's attached to him that he likes about women that he's not getting from her. Okay, that this particular story about her sleeping around has killed off that vibe, right? Has, instead of him just being honest and brutal and upfront and being like, listen, can I be honest with you? Listen, this ain't gonna work. Social status thing, situation, it is what it is. I value those things, and right now, unfortunately, it's not it. Now, would he have been crucified? Absolutely, but that doesn't make a difference. When you make decisions and you stand on principle, that is what happens. People crucify you when you stand on principles. It's that simple. You don't stand on principles to be clapped for. You know what I'm saying to you? I don't stand on principles so that everyone can celebrate me. I stand on principles because it's my principle. So he should have taken that on board, told her, and said, I'm leaving it as it is. Now, someone said it might have been an imaginary sister. It might have been. I wouldn't even fight you on that. It might be an imaginary sister. Just like when it was a month ago when she was sleeping with a guy, and the guy that suddenly did not know why he was in a situationship with her, it was also imaginary. Like she was pretending and said that she actually did not know why he felt the way he felt. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Everybody's playing the same game. Everybody's playing the same game. They're lying. So both Dave and Lauren, they're not villains. They're not even close to villains this season. They're just liars. Okay, and they had their own agendas. Okay, all right. So I put them equally on the same foot, and as bad individuals. I just wish Dave did it a little bit more differently. But in the end, they're all just liars. Okay, all right. So for me personally, and yes, we will talk about that life watch. I know what you mean. Yes, she did not close it off. If this was a man, we would have definitely said, that this was a big problem. That how can he? And we would definitely be questioning why is there a girl suddenly just saying that she likes him and is left out there? He must not be telling us the full truth. So Lauren does need a little bit of heat behind her as well because she did lie about that, but. Hey, I'm just saying. I don't think David's the villain that we thought he was. Now, Ben and Sarah, really quickly, can I be honest with you? I don't know. They might say yes, here is a lie in this. Ben and Sarah are both liars. Okay, all right. They're not being true. Okay, Sarah is not being true because she's a people pleaser and is trying to please her sister. And I wish her sister would shut up. I can't lie to you. I needed to shut up. She tries to inject herself, and look, if you watch, I watched it, and it's just little parts where her sister tries to inject herself, and that's when I realized your sister's trying to inject herself onto your principles. Sister, I need you to have your own principles, Sarah. If you agree with your sister to only a degree, you can believe with her only up to a degree, and that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. You know what I'm saying to you? That's all right. Be okay with that, sis. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you're not going to agree with everything your sister's going to tell you. And then her lesbian partner too, trying to also conduct her and trying to influence her to another aspect. My friend, if you have your lifestyle, stick with your lifestyle. Leave Sarah alone. You know what I'm saying to you? Leave Sarah alone. Let her breathe and let her be free. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. Now, another part I want to say is that obviously when it comes to Ben, honestly, I do think that guy's lying. I can't lie to you. There's something about Ben that seems very disingenuous. Okay, and it's the same thing about Sarah. They're not being true to their principles. Now he keeps telling us about how he wants to go to church, bro. You knew your church was not an affirming gay church. I'm sorry. You knew this already. You know your pastor doesn't do the LGBTQA. You knew it already, bro. You didn't have to wait for her to go and listen to a message. Stop lying. He sat there at a dinner and said, I don't even remember what he said. Are you sure? You don't remember? You don't remember that what he said about LGBTQA, but she happened to stumble upon a message about the LGBTQA. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The coincidence of that happening, that she just stumbled upon a message that your pastor said about LGBTQA and you couldn't remember. Now, hey, shout out to Ben. He has LGBTQA friends, and that's fine. And he's open, and maybe he's a bit more open, a bit more less traditional in his Christian views in that respect. I totally hear that. Okay, all right, I totally hear that. But you're not being real. You're not being real. So I need you I need you to park the bus. You know what I'm saying to you? I need to park that bus. All right, he tried to use the whole, and he's gonna be someone. He's gonna use that whole. I was at work this week, and it's been so busy. That's what I want to talk about. Come on now. Come on, Ben. Just be honest, bro. You're just trying to get married. You're acting like one of the women right now. You're just trying to get married. I don't know if you want a TV deal. I don't know if you just want to get married. Like, you want something that's not necessarily just Sarah. And you're just laying it on thick. And whenever he feels like if you notice that whenever she, especially towards the end, whenever she's feeling like she's not really sure 100%, or she's thinking about something, he lays it on thick. I love you. I said, oh, no. I said, Benny boy. Benny boy. Benny boy. Okay. We're going to wait and see. We're going to find out if you're true to what you're saying. And then obviously we have Virginia and what am I going to say? Is his name Dave? Why is his name got up my head? Is his name Dave? Devon. Virginia and Devon. Sorry, I was about to say Dave. Okay, Virginia and Devon. Well, we know where Easton's going to go there. He's a nice guy tactics. You know who's going to be on his neck. Virginia and Devon. Here's my thing. Listen, shout out to Virginia, man. You know what I'm saying to you? She gonna make me sign a prenup, and I don't even want one. You know what I'm saying to you? She gonna be like, listen, I just need you to check the prenup. And I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna check the prenup. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? What do I sign? Okay? At least she gave more than one page. Ikechi, are you watching? It was more than one page. Do you see that, Ikechi? You see how she presented that? That's how you should have been. At least have that, you know what I'm saying? She a little bit of the demure and a bit of, shout out to her. Like, I think it was a real thing. I'm not even mad at it. At the end of the day, I understand coming into this process that you're going to have different views and everything like that. So I understand it. Now, the political views, obviously the landscape is very difficult. Two different opposing views. That might cause some issues in the long term. I know some people are saying that he may be MAGA. Obviously, with the way he voted, because obviously his family said they vote Conservatives away as well. So there are going to be some issues probably with that. Maybe potentially it might not do. Some people, there are very few people that can do it. It's not often, but few people can make it work where they say, look, we don't care. It's up to you what you do. This is my opinion. It's your opinion. Whether these two can do it, I don't know. Something just seems off. Devon energy is off to me. I don't know what it is. And I don't think it's even about necessarily, I think he's just somebody who's a bit more emotionally distant. Because like when she was talking to him on the kitchen desk, he never gave her not one eye contact, you know. Not one piece of eye contact. Like either that or he just finds it very difficult to have difficult conversations. Number two, they lay in bed and I never see them touch anybody. Now he may be a Christian, I hear it, but you ain't gonna hold her hair. You ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get a little huggy. You know what I'm saying? It feels too clean. There's just a lack of, I want to see a little bit of something. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna hold her waist. You know what I'm saying, Chew? You ain't gonna hold her waist and give it a little smooch. Like it just lacks something. You know what I'm saying? It's very bland right now. You know, I also said they were hugging on vacation. Oh, well, every time I've seen them, they look a bit, you know what I mean? So anyway, listen, everyone, I'm not saying it's, you know, I'm not saying that you have to necessarily do the most, but it does seem a little bit, you know what I mean? It's very regulated. You know what I'm saying? Like even when they talk, both of them actually when they talk, it lacks emotion. It just feels very flat. You know what I'm saying? She, as much as Virginia be sweetening me up with her voice, it is very flat at most occasions. Like when they're discussing hard subjects, it'd be like, so who did you vote for? Oh, I voted for Conservatives. Oh, I mean, I voted for Dems. Oh, the Dems. Okay, I hear it. So, I mean, they obviously are a certain way, and it comes like it's just like very bland. You know what I'm saying, Chew? So it's very, very. Yeah, so that's the only thing. It's just very, very flat. Then obviously with Joey and Monica, that sister's still a hater. Okay, that sister is still a hater. All right, now she apologized, but she a hater. Okay, all right. Nothing gonna tell me different that she the hater. Shout out to Joey and Monica. I think their energy's infectious. I love their energy. I think they both. Like sister try to throw in there like, oh, the reason why I felt the way I did because you're just so energetic and we're a napping family. I said, get the frick out of here. Get the frick out of here. Your family's a napping family who put socks together. Yeah. Okay, now you bluffing. I'm sorry. When he came in that room, the jokes that they were busting on your ass. Ain't no way that family is. Ain't no way that family is not high octane. They were busting jokes on your sisters. You can't tell me that. Telling us what your man is actually your sister's man, Monica. Nah, you can't tell me they're low key and low octane. You lying to us and you're lying to yourselves. You know what I mean? So look, that's my little breakdown of this particular show as well. Of course, we had Molly calling out, Dave as well. Which was interesting. There were some key parts I want to say. So the Dave situation with Molly, I get it. Molly wants to be a girl's girl. I don't believe it. I can't lie to you. Molly be doing the most. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just of a dark mind. Molly's doing the most. I feel like Molly's doing the most. She's doing the most. She's doing the most. She's doing the most. She's doing the most. Like it's almost like she wants to be Lauren's friend. Like she's begging it to be her friend. And I'm like, I need you to stop that. It just feels a little bit beggy. I'm not saying that you can't defend your girls, but let's be honest, sis. It just feels a little bit beggy. Yeah, it just feels a little bit beggy. I don't know what it is. It's just me. I'm feeling that. It's not. It's giving like. I felt this way when she did it the first time when she went back into the pods after Dave's situation. She went back in and almost remember she started talking messy to Lauren, talking about she was basically almost saying like no one should date Dave in a sense, right? He ain't ready, kind of thing. And now she's doing the whole weird girls, and then talking about how no one should, like it feels like you got rejected and you don't want no one to date Dave. That's how it feels like. You know what I mean? Because you was all in before that. You know what I'm saying? It just feels a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying too? And my last thing is this. Britney scares me. People like Britney. I'm not talking about her sexual orientation. I'm talking about her manipulation. People like Britney scare me. Right? Whether they are straight, doesn't matter. We're not talking about her sexual orientation. If this was a straight person saying this, I'll be scared too. Okay? Because this is scary behavior. If we are now talking, which is what Britney ended up having a conversation with Devon, and she tried to flip it about his, I was disappointed in your reaction, and then ended up saying everybody's a little bit gay. It is the equivalent of when a man goes to somebody who is a lesbian and goes, well, everyone's a little bit straight. You know you want this D. That's basically what you're saying. And I found that insulting. I was like, Britney, what are you doing? Like, stop it. Like, you know what I'm saying to you? Stop it. Like, park the bus. Okay, you chose someone else as well, and he didn't want you in the end, and you don't want him. So park that down, boss. Leave it alone. Stop it. Like no one's going to change their. Oh, you know, it's like I'm a little bit gay, so you should be okay with it. Accept me as I am for a relationship, not friends, but as a relationship. Come on, Brittany, stop it. It's like telling a lesbian to say, "Come on, just be a little bit, just be a little bit straight." Get what I'm saying to you? You want this. You when you hear men say that, I find that infuriating too. You know she's lesbian. Stop that. You know what I'm saying to you? She's told you that's just what she's on. Stop trying to flip her the other side. Like it's just disrespectful. You get what I'm saying to you? Like I don't like that kind of stuff, that kind of behavior. So yeah, it's just manipulative in general. So that is my thought processes to that. But of course, we're gonna discuss these couples out here, baby. Okay, all right. Shout out to Madison for trying to call out Mason and Alex, even though we now found out Alex is a bit of a waste man. That's craziness right there. All right, listen, we're gonna have this conversation. I got my panelists behind the scenes, baby. Okay, we're gonna bring them up now. I gotta do my little intros before my people them. So first and foremost, already know who she is. Okay, the champion of champions, the dark lord of them all. Listen, when she speaks, the earth shudders. Okay, she gonna bring and bring light to the dark arts in any situation that is present. Willing to be a contrarian when she needs to be. Okay, where she's willing to bring the Thor hammer down straight to lay down the law. We appreciate El Cidio, baby. How you doing, Elson? How you doing, Elson? How you doing?
I'm good. Justice for Dave today. I mean, justice for Dave because Lauren pulled out all the player cards that we hear the men use in dark arts. Lauren played them all. And I got notes. I got notes.
Damn. Don't worry, we're gonna start with him, so we're gonna start straight with him. All right, my next person coming up to the stage, you already know who he is. Yes, 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 yes. You already know who he is. I've always said it's from the north to the south to the west to the east. He's also another contrarian, but he'll let you know. Listen, he is a hard on. Pause. He has a hard on for those people who are nice guys. Okay, all right. Listen, none of them are getting away. All right. He gonna capture them all and let them know that Easton is here to stay. Welcome to the show, baby. It's prime time. What are you telling me, my guy?
This is going to be an interesting episode. I'm prepared to be gaslit. I'm prepared to, be in my misogynistic bag if I have to be. But this is a very, very interesting episode, and I'm loving to see what the chat is going to say. I'm loving to see what the other panelists are going to say because Dave needs to hold a heavy level of accountability. But what Lauren was doing, boy, I mean, we'll just get into it here in a little bit.
No worries, to my guy. I hear you. Next on to my fabulous, wonderful stage, demure, classy, wonderful, exciting. And this person is a queen of the platform as well. Okay, you gonna be intoxicated. Okay, you gonna be drunk. Okay, but one thing you definitely gonna do, you gonna drink another round. Welcome to the stage, baby, Jay.
First of all, Easton, I appreciate you coming in with straight balance today because I don't know what the hell El Cid is on talking about justice for Dave. Justice my behind. Okay, okay. You know what I'm saying? Dave got a little lying problem just like the lady they chose. Okay, so let's keep it real.
This is true.
The
This is true.
hell?
Well, on that note, let's go straight into it because boy, you already started strong already in this episode. So we're gonna start straight with the main topic. We're gonna start a little bit hot because I think we're gonna need all that energy to discuss this topic. Dave and Lauren have been a talk of this particular season, okay, and they have brought us, I guess, a conversation around the aspect of this situation with his parents and his sister, or should I say his father and sister, and then her dad as well, because he said his dad cussed him out. So the dad situation and her dealing with this guy who she hadn't spoken to for about a month, but then had slept with him a week beforehand. The friends also got involved and lied too, I think. So I want to get you guys' thoughts overall. What was your thoughts around this Dave and Lauren situation? Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? Who's at fault? Who's a villain? Who's not a villain in this situation? I want to know your thoughts on this. Okay, I want to know what your thoughts on this. Elle said, start strong on here. You said Dave, justice for Dave. I want to hear why justice for Dave.
I'm saying justice for Dave only because Lauren's story keep on changing every episode. It keeps on changing. And it's her word choice. She's giving me some word salad, like, there wasn't not exactly closure. And he has a different interpretation of our time together. It was like, girl, you're not making a complete argument. It keeps changing. It's like Dave gets to a point of like, okay, I can handle this. And then she moves the goalpost. And then she adds something else. And then if this was a man talking about a woman like this, we'd be like, no, you were playing. You were out here running these streets. You didn't tell that woman exactly what it was. We would be all over him. So again, yes, Dave is keeping his sister friends away from this. It's giving me this kind of buyer's remorse. He should have told her, yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. It's a little too close to home. Yes, he got a leaving stuff out problem, but she's got a adding to the story every single time problem. I'm like, can we get the whole story one time, Lauren? Can we not change the story? It's like, it's okay. It doesn't matter that you dated this man before the show. It doesn't matter. It's that the story just keeps changing and we can't stay on solid footing. It's all right. But you have to be okay that your partner is not okay with it and just move it along. That's it. And it's not going to bode well with the in laws if your dad is coming at Dave's family. How did you think we were going to say yes, or we were going to be able to sit across the aisle at a wedding when your dad is talking about my family? This wasn't going to work out at all.
Now, Jay, obviously you have a different opinion to the Justice for Dave crusade. I want to know what your opposing view is here.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, because you're talking about the same two people. If he's leaving things out and she's adding to the story, she's doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing. If his friends is talking about her and her dad is talking about his family, they're doing the same thing. Okay, so let's not sit here and try to say that over the other in any type of way, other than the fact that when he was
I thought it was just me, but we damn. As I'm hopeful, yes I am. Sorry,
she's lying about the fact that she slept with this man 24 hours ago, okay? Because we don't know what time frame or whatever and stuff like that. All right, we don't know what time. And he lying that he slept with anybody, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? They both got a little lying problem. I'm exaggerating, Easton, if you didn't understand that joke right there, okay? On both hands, I exaggerated on when they slept with somebody or whatnot. But come on, you sitting here, you have this hard on for when, what's the other one he was dating? What was her name?
Molly, it was 6 months.
Yeah, when Molly was doing her thing. So I give him credit. I give him credit for standing his stance, because obviously he has a whole problem with you sleeping with anybody within the 4 years he supposedly didn't sleep with anybody or whatnot. But like, you're withholding your friends and your sister, who everybody seems to know about her business. You're withholding them from Lauren, so she can't sit there and talk to them about whatever and stuff like that. So everybody is okay to have a conversation about Lauren's crotch, except for Lauren. That's very unfair and disrespectful. And then on top of it, you're going to sit here and try to flip that situation on everybody talking about Lauren to, oh, now your dad has something to say. Your dad didn't want to meet me, but the dad still dad still did meet you. The dad met you off camera, but the dad still met you. So it's not, you can't sit here and be trying to talk about fairness and all this stuff like that when you're sitting here lying on your sister and the friends, because if they have such a big deal with your choice, why you can't stand up to your friends and say, this is my choice. I chose to be with this girl. So what? So what? That's the lady you chose to stand behind. But then you want to get around the boys and then tell them, oh, you know what? It's just me and my ego. So you're lying too. Because if it was just you and your ego, you shouldn't have a problem to sit there and say, you know what? My sister feels some type of way about it, but I actually feel some type of way about it myself. I have a stance. I have a hard stance about this. And on top of it, you still lying again, Dave, when you sit here and tell Molly that you broke up with Lauren. You did not break up with Lauren. That's why Molly looked at you crazy, because he was like, Molly knew you didn't even break up with her. So, like somebody said earlier in the chat, he's a little coward when it especially comes to breaking up with people and telling them how he really feels. You want to put everything on the sister, but you want to get from her So we got real strong winds today. So it might keep going in and out. But you want to put everything on the sister. You want to put everything on the sister instead of getting from under her shadow. So just like tell your truth, live in your truth, and maybe that'll help Lauren. You know, if he leads in his truth, maybe that'll help Lauren lead in her truth. But you know, Lauren got more than a situation going on with that man over there. That's why that man over there confused and need closure, and she ain't closed nothing. Not her legs, not that chapter with that man. She ain't closed nothing. So like I say, at the end of the day, they both got a little lying problem. And we're going to have to keep it split it down the middle. We can't sit here and be trying to beat one down as better than the other. Both of these people, there's something wrong with them.
I hear that. Easton, come and split the sea.
All right. So first and foremost, Dave is quite a bit of a coward because he didn't initially cut things off when he had some level of, whether it be confusion or he figured out he didn't like Lauren the way that he did like her. And I think it was before he found out about all this other stuff. But just so happened, he had a olive branch fall down and it was her lying. I get it. I'm saying this, hey, he is a coward. On the other hand, the lies and some of him trying to position his sisters and stuff like that and his friends, I do believe that's very true. I think that in the back of his mind, once he found out about more things and more information, it did eat at him. As a guy, if you find out that your significant other was involved in an friends with benefits situationship, any of the sort, like we can spin it however we want to, weeks prior to them being on a show that is the premise is that you're going to get ultimately engaged and married, and also just knowing that your partner isn't dating intentionally immediately before you get onto the show, you're gonna feel some type of way. If I find out that and it's not a slut shaming situation, it's just that in the back of your mind you're gonna be like, dang, a week ago you was busting it wide open and now you're over here we're trying to put this situation together. And so Dave, probably his ego did get in the way and he probably does like Lauren, but you don't want to be the laughing stock of the friend group, of the family, and that's just kind of how we think. And unfortunately, that's just how it happened to be with Lauren. So nobody's trying to slut shame her or anything like that. I do think that she probably should have, if going into this experiment, taken a little bit of time to maybe cleanse or decompress, or just like, hey, let me start dating with intention, because that was another alarming thing, was that she said explicitly that she knew this person wasn't somebody that she was going to take seriously. And that's like alarming, that you're prior to this, you're dating somebody that you weren't going to take them seriously at all, and you knew that they weren't good for you, and now you're just getting into the experiment. Like, are you in the right headspace to be prepared for this experiment? On Lauren's end, I find that there is huge holes in her story, even to the point where I felt like there's a lot of manipulation, because even talking with her mom, her friends, it seemed like she had a couple of points that she wanted them to drill in terms of it wasn't that serious. They didn't know much about it. She has a heart of gold. She's all this, that, and another. And to me, it seemed like she was like, hey, trying to position Dave in a way by talking to all of her friends and family that, was going to get him to change his mind, which I do. I know you like him, you want to be on the show, but I find that a little bit disingenuous. And last but not least, the fact that you didn't tell your daddy the whole story, you told him partial of the story. You didn't tell him that she was involved with these folks 2 weeks prior, a week prior. He, in his mind, he like, my baby ain't done nothing wrong. You don't want to treat her right. And then your daddy gonna charge me up? No, sir. You're gonna have to lay out the facts. Your daughter was involved with somebody that she didn't break it off with. at all weeks before getting on the show. Now we're wanting to be married, and I can't get that out my head. You ain't gonna charge me up about this, and then I'm gonna look at you crazy like you ain't tell your daddy that you was involved with somebody prior to this. Not gonna happen. Again, Dave is a coward for doing that. But him being a coward doesn't absolve Lauren of the lies that she was saying. And granted, yes, both of them were lying because Dave could have said the truth, but Lauren for sure has some huge holes, and she continues to have them, and the story keeps evolving.
Hearing you strong. Seaway, we're asking the question, obviously, just our initial thoughts on this Dave and Lauren situation. Now we've reached to episode 11, etc. A lot of more things have come out. They had a conversation in cinema. She said that, that he had texted her, whatever, but she didn't necessarily text him back or anything like that. We found out, obviously, that, it was a week before she went on the show that she did eventually sleep with him, which we didn't know until until this episode. So we're saying, I don't know what side you fall on. You can choose whichever side. But Elsa started the conversation by saying, "Justice for Dave. Justice for Dave."
Now, I don't know if I would take it that far. I guess I'm more in line with my sorry, people. I was sharing out the live, so people probably gonna be texting me and put on do not disturb. I'm probably with my twin in them over there. I'm probably more in line with Easton with this. It's definitely not justice for Dave because I do wholeheartedly believe that Dave really didn't want to take it all the way anyway. I think he came on the show and was already kind of rebelling against his weird behind family with whatever they have going on. And he didn't want to really take it super far. I do think though, when he did meet Lauren in the pods, he was willing though to say, "Hey, I'm gonna, maybe reconsider that." But I definitely feel like in the back of his mind, he was kind of looking for an out because I don't think he was necessarily sold on this whole process to begin with. I think for Dave, it was something to do. With that being said, though, it's Lauren to me represents just so many things that I find to be agitating. Like, one, when a dude calls you a hoe or makes it very clear that he doesn't want you, like making us, let alone yourself, sit through all of these episodes of having to listen to him call you a hoe, run your whole facts, all this stuff was just unbearable. It was absolutely unbearable. And the reason why I can't even view either one of them as a victim, but definitely not Lauren. Lauren literally tried to one up Molly and be the girl next door good girl. She was very, very, very okay with being a super pygmy. She was acting like she was some saint, acting like she was some excellent good girl, trying to be the antithesis of Molly, who actually is a queen, like Carla, Queen Molly and Queen Carla, okay? And she sold this dream, this girl next door dream, to try to get in good with a man that basically said that he's a misogynist, he's conservative. I think he had said something like he ain't even for like women's rights or something like that. Like, the man was honest. He said everything, and this girl was like a lot of white women, like, yeah, like, but not, it won't be for me. Like, it's not about me. And then she went in there and he let his misogyny show. He let his ego come through, the same ego that he showed the entire time he was in the pods. So for me, Dave has been consistent this entire time. Lauren has been a manipulator. She manipulated Molly. She manipulated David. And then she got out in the streets, and then she's trying to do what, and I don't know if a lot of y'all grew up with white women, but unlike black women and people of color, they think that them being a hoe is like a temporary thing. They love the dipping in and out of hoedom. Like, I had so many white women in my law school, and sorry to rant, who were literally getting like ran through on a day-to-day basis. But when it was time for them to get married, they cut off the hold'em like a light switch and then start acting like they've been a saint for the last 5 years. That's just what they do. And that's the reason why Lauren thought that she could do that. She's like, I was a hoe last week, but not this week. This week, I'm a good girl. And then it didn't work. And so I feel nothing for her, because black women can't do that. If we was a hoe last week, we're a hoe this week. She thinks she was a hoe last week, so she ain't a hoe this week. On top of the fact that she's a bad person, because at the least she could have did was tell that man, I know you was slapping my cheeks last week, but I'm going on this show to find love because you already know me and you ain't it. And so be cool, please. So I also don't feel bad because get your side nigga in check. You didn't control the controllables. You could at least told him, hey, I know what we was, but let me just like be cool for me. Can you be cool for me? Off the strength of everything we done been through, can you be cool for me? He probably would have said, all right, be blessed. I ain't gonna mess up your spot. Cool. But no, she tried to ghost him, and then now she wants sympathy. Zero sympathy for Lauren, and zero sympathy for Weird Behind Dave, because he's weird too. But at least he's been consistent. And for me, I like consistency over anything. He also has been consistently lying, though, LC. I don't know if you clocked that, because he's lying on that sister. That sister didn't say half of the stuff that he's saying he said. He's going to them and telling the family, she a hoe and I don't want to be with her. And then the family are like, cool. So he needs to stop lying on his sister, because if I'm his sister, I'm like, keep my name out of this show. You don't want to be with her. You clocked her whole facts. It don't have nothing to do with me. So yeah, I don't have a perfect victim here, but if I'm gonna pick one, I'm picking Dave. I'm definitely not picking Lauren, because she is on my nerves in more ways than one. And yeah.
What Dave is giving me is that he's part of that kind of elitist structure with the way he talks about certain things. It's like, I can't bring Lauren to the country club because the dude is on the board of the country club that she done had this friends with benefits. That's what Dave is giving me. Like how he said the sister would hook him up with some good girl she knows. It's a good girl that kept her deeds under wraps. And that's the thing. If Lauren had done what previous Love is Blind Trevor told his girl, but she went back on the deal. Trevor told his girl, I'm going on this show. Hold it down. But here's Lauren saying, oh, there was not closure. You know, he thought the relationship was more than it was. Well, why haven't you blocked the man, Lauren? Why is the man still trying to contact you to talk, see what's up, and now get closure or talk to you or whatever? Block him. He's causing a ruckus in the relationship. Block him. But it's because she's keeping the door open.
She is. That man is a lawyer. She definitely is keeping the door open. I think we got to stop the cap, and she got to stop the cap, and because you don't just like instantly vanish on a person. Like you could. He said she ain't say nothing, and he just so happens to live in the same apartments that they live in. Like there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I don't think that the dude is just like, I think the dude genuinely, if he really wanted his 15 minutes of fame, he said that they reached out to him and invited him on the show, and he declined and different things like that. So I don't think he really wants his 15 minutes. I think that he honestly thought that something was going on between them, and she just dipped out and went on the show. And more power to her. She can do what she want to do, but you know, actions have consequences.
Is he a lawyer? The side dude's a lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was never going on that show.
Yeah, he was never going
on. I mean, he did want to F her life up. I do think he was set on that, but he's not set on that enough to go on a TV show as a side dude, and he's an attorney. He was never going on the show. So maybe he wanted his 15 minutes of fame to the extent that he could get it without being pictured on the show, but he was never going to be pictured on the show.
Because obviously, like he apparently he photoshopped. I was joking about that. I don't know, but I heard that he did Photoshop a picture, as well. So that's some creepy stuff. Why are you photoshopping yourself into Love is Blind castmates? I don't know if that's a joke and they've taken it out further, or like maybe he did do it and there was like a joke thing, and he's kind of and someone just capitalized on it or whatever. I'm not sure, because obviously I haven't seen it, so I don't know the context of what it was placed in, because it might have been him just joking around saying, yeah, I wasn't a Love Blind thing, but not, you know what I mean, someone taking it, someone just needs to see it and take it and it's gone. But I don't know what context it was originally that he put it in, because I'm thinking to myself, if he's willing to do that, why not go on the show? Why put your face in something and not go on the show? I know that it's contractual, it's different, but your face is on there. Do you know what I mean? Yes, Elsie, do you want to say something?
My other side eye to Lauren is, Dave is spinning out about this from like the very beginning when y'all got your phones. Why did you still sleep with this man? Why? I mean,
What do you
that
mean? Was she supposed to take back sleeping with him after she done slept with him
no,
before she went on the show?
No, she's talking
no,
about Dave. I don't
Dave.
think she slept
I
with
don't
him.
think they slept together. I think he
Yeah, they
capped
did.
about that.
He said that
That's
they
He
what
did.
he
said that, but
said.
he didn't lie too. He got a little lying problem.
I don't think she slept with him.
She said it too. I
They both
understand.
said they slept with each
They
other.
both,
He
Really?
joked
yeah.
with Molly saying he a virgin.
No,
They got lying problems.
she would
What we
say
supposed
that.
to believe? Yeah.
She would say that because she just slept with that man last week and didn't want to say it. So we don't know who to believe right
That's what
now.
I'm
She may have slept
saying.
with him
They
and don't
all
want to
got
know.
lying problems.
that
So
I'm
I
saying
think
if
none of
they
it works
both,
for it.
I'm saying if they both said it,
Nah. He
I'm
said
willing.
he said messed around. So I think they did something else, but I don't think they slept together.
They both said it. All right, I'm just saying they
No.
both.
They also both agreed that she slept with another man. We just don't know what time frame that she slept with that other man. You
That
know.
time frame really don't matter. The fact of the
And
matter,
we agree that the sister was cock blocking, but the sister really ain't because it was his ego. So there's a whole bunch of lies going on between the two of them.
I
At
don't.
this point, the way he was running around that damn thing, asking everybody if they slept, he gonna lie, and they gonna both lie at this point. The hell, shit.
I just wish he would have owned it and would have just like he didn't tell the truth until he got drunk. And look, Lauren, it's just my ego at this
Yeah,
point. Like I just can't do it. I wish he would have just told her
it don't work that way. See
that
way.
he can't do it. I'm just saying in a perfect world, since we're talking about in a perfect world here, because right, I wish he would have said that he can't do it as soon as possible, and I wish she would have stopped crying and begging, because honestly they both just end up looking crazy. Like he's dragging family members and all type of lies into it, trying to act like it's on them, and it's not checking out because it's a lie. And then her story is not adding up because it's also a lie. She's doing spring summer winter again, like Sheree. Was it the spring summer the winter? Was it 2 days ago, a week ago,
Joggers.
2 weeks ago? They both lying. Like that's why I don't feel nothing for neither one of them. They're both lying.
Who is vindicated is me when I told you them friends was no damn good. When I tried to tell y'all last week when the friends couldn't keep their story straight for her.
We all agree with
and
you.
stuff. No, now everybody agrees. Somebody had disagreed and said
I had confusion, but I didn't necessarily disagree. I was just trying to understand why y'all felt that way. But at this point, they all raggedy. She raggedy, they raggedy.
Yeah, because they
I'm
gonna talk
glad
about she wasn't with him, she was with us. I was like, where were y'all? Where were y'all? Y'all was in the bed with her, with them? Like, what is your what?
Look, my opinion is like I don't think a lot of people will like this opinion, but I'm happy Dave lied. I just don't. I think the amount of think pieces and the amount of the conversation would have definitely shifted if he would have just told the truth. I think he needed to lie. I think he did himself a huge service by lying. I don't think that it did him any good by telling the truth, because if he told the truth and was like, "All right, Lauren,"
So that's your lesson.
No,
That's your lesson. He should lie.
You know what?
No,
Easton, I get where you're coming from on this, because in the court of public opinion,
he would have got killed.
He would have got killed, and all her indiscretions would have been overlooked, because it's the same thing that's kind of happening with Devon about him and this Brittany thing or whatever. It's the same kind of thing that's happening.
Devon and
Devin, whatever his name is, Devon Devin.
That's why I started calling him Dave. I started calling him all sorts of names.
I get where Easton is coming from, that people would have felt away, but I always say this all the time. You're responsible for your character. You're responsible for what you put out there, not how other people receive it. I don't change who I am based on how y'all are going to receive it. Y'all know on this channel, I'm going to say what I say, and a lot of times it's unpopular, because a lot of times the truth going to wrap around anyway. So I don't worry if people got an issue with it on day 1, because on day 5, y'all going to feel me. People need to tell the truth, because if he would have just been honest, yeah, maybe up front people would have called him a misogynist, which he is. That to me still stands, right? But people would have said that he was host shaming, all that type of stuff. But the truth would have came out about her tea. So,
and what would have been the position of that if I think by him lying, not saying that it's great or I'm justifying it, I'm just saying that much rather him lie, and at least you could be like, well, it's a sister. At least there's a little bit of confusion. I much rather him cause confusion with this story than him being like, all right,
you rather be labeled as a slut shamer or be labeled as somebody that has an inappropriate relationship with your sister, because now people think that he has
give me that one for 500, Seaway. I'll take that for 500 rather
you
than
want an ancestral relationship with your sister over being a liar?
In 2025, you want to be in 2025, you want to be considered a slut shamer?
Yes.
Or no,
or ancestral?
They look like there's a bunch of tongue in cheek where people are talking about him being with his sister. I'm saying that the narrative of you being a slut shamer or you being a misogynist or you being the head of the patriarchy is far worse in 2025 than him being like, oh, well, maybe my relatives
don't like. That's not tongue in
cheek
though, Easton. People are really saying, people are going down their family tree. They on Ancestry.com and 23andMe. They thinking they're weird. This is real.
Easton, I think you're thinking of what your black side of yourself, because in the black community, being that's not something we like really have going on for decades. I can see, but from his side, it'd be kind of ancestral that he don't want that on his thing. Especially if he coming from some type of money and stuff like that, he don't want that on that record.
People don't even know if he even has a sister. Everybody's either thinking that he doesn't have a sister or he's just lying on his friends and his relatives. I'd much rather have that confusion than he'd be like, oh, you slut shaming in 2025, you controlling you policing women's body. I don't want none of that. Not in 2025.
Easton, is it that you don't want that because then his resume will be looked at? Because if you're looking at her resume, then we got to look at your resume if you are shaming her.
No, I don't want the label, El Cid. I don't want the label. If you gonna tell me, if I had to choose between the two, I don't want to be accused of policing women's bodies or sex change. Huh?
Why does it have to be shaming? It's just a boundary. This is just something he's uncomfortable with.
El Cid, you know good and dang well that's not how it's gonna be taken. We already see it right here. We see it in 4K that people are like, what? That's slut shaming.
Well, they're saying that in the chat, but we're saying it's about the lying. We have no problem with what you choose to do as an adult with another adult. The problem is when you're lying about your behavior, when asked by a fiance, someone you're willing to get married to.
But everybody has a right. To me, there are going to be women who are going to be opposed. I'm not saying that. But I think the collective of the situation, no one's saying that I should say no one, but the majority of people are not pushing back that David had an issue with her sleeping with somebody a week before the show. I think the issue is they feel like he's dragging it. Like he's been like, the shaming comes in is the fact that you're basically berating this woman and kicking her basically over and over and over again. And that feels abusive. Not like you saying, hey, my line, just like Devin had his line about the, her sexuality, about B-Dot's sexuality. Yeah, there were some people who said he had a problem, but the majority was like, he has a right. Not he can have a preference.
Nasty way.
But
I'm being dead serious.
But this is Dave's consistency as well. See what we're talking about. He's also not the one to end the relationship. He will drag it out until somebody drags him to a decision. So this is part of his consistency. And we saw it with Molly. Now we're seeing it with Lauren. He's not going to say, this is not for me. Let's be done and let's move on. Because he's still sounding like if we didn't really break up, we just kind of fizzled. He's still sounding like that. He doesn't make definitive decisions.
Well, C said he kept on dragging it because she was lying and changing his story. But the problem is, even with all of her twists and turns, none of that was going to change his mind. And that's why he's dragging it, whether it was serious or not serious, a week or 2 weeks. The moment that he found out that somebody that he knew and his friends knew had been with Lauren, honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, even if it was a year ago, it would have been a problem. Knowing him, he's just the type of man where if somebody he knows you like that, it's a wrap. And that's why he's dragging it, because he should have just said that. I can't be with anybody who's been with a mutual an acquaintance
Frat
of
buddy.
mine. Yeah,
Frat buddy.
frat buddy. That's just too close for me. I can't do that. He should have been a man and said that. But I think what we're seeing is that a lot of these grown men look like grown men on the outside, and they have a lot of arrested development. They're very childlike. And to me, he kind of morphed into a very childlike. I don't know if y'all saw it, but he just felt like a kid. Like it seemed like he melted down into like a kid. And I was just like, look, Lauren, you're not going to get much more from him.
It sounds like what he said in the pods. His family has been making the decisions for him because he has made reckless decisions in the past. It is sounding again, as you're saying, consistent. This is his normal behavior. As bad as it is, it's his normal behavior.
This is fair. That's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. I just think that at this point on the show, and even with him explaining about, like, he positioned himself as if he didn't know much about the show, but it seemed like he knew a lot more about the show than he wanted to give credit to. And this is, again, maybe with the times. So he's probably aware of how men do get treated on the show comparatively to the rest of the field. He made it seem like, oh, I just found out that I was going to be on the show. My sisters know all about the show, and she's scared that I might find somebody that isn't on the show for real reasons. No, you probably know about the show. You probably know all the nuances within it. And he just didn't want he didn't want to be that guy who was villainized for, internalizing or externalizing an internal thought that a lot of guys have when they're dating somebody. It just is what it is. It's super unfortunate, but he should have went ahead and told her. But
I don't know. I'm sure he looks like one of those people where him and his family probably got him ready for the show for sure. But I mean, Dave is objectively handsome. I mean, he's like crossover handsome. They're looking for people like him. They're seeking him out. They even sought out the little short guy that's just a gem.
Yeah. They're having a hard time finding guys. Like,
yeah, they're having a hard time. Yeah, so I don't know how much, but I think he did get ready for the show. So he did kind of know how he wanted to appear, I'm sure. But
I think he got ready, but not with his sister's knowledge, because he made a comment of saying his sister said, had you told me, I would have hooked you up with some people. So the sister was not even a knowing of him doing this whole thing.
I don't trust that.
Or whatever. You pick and choose what you trust of this man.
We said that's what
you trust that he slept with Lauren, but you don't trust.
Lauren said he slept with her too. That's two stories.
Yes, she lied. She trying to save face on. I gave him some though.
I mean, maybe so, but I have a hard time that she's gonna claim a body that.
Nah, was she not trying to claim somebody? So how you have a hard time? She gonna claim.
No, she claimed it. She just did. She forgot when she claimed. Was this quarter or was it 2 quarters ago?
She forgot.
Do I have to put it on? Does it meet this quota or that quota? That's what she's saying.
Well, she's lucky she's white, so she'll bounce back for this because she's white. Because this type of hoish behavior that she got going on, she's quite lucky that she is Caucasian. Because I don't know if everybody else would bounce back the same way. This is a mess.
No, I definitely hear that. I definitely hear that. All right, let's leave them behind. Well, I say leave them behind, but obviously, I want to get your thoughts on Molly as well, because Dave did have a conversation with Molly. So I'd love to get your perspective on that situation with Dave and Molly, and how you actually saw her trying to help out in terms of trying to get Dave to really get back with Lauren, and then Molly letting him know that, being pally with also Lauren as well, doing girls. Just get your quick thoughts before we move on to the next couple. What's your thoughts around Molly and her situation?
I just want to say Queen Molly. And Molly is an example of why I say pick-me's are the root of all evil, and that girls will always be number one in my life, because pick-me behavior is usually directly related to other nonsensical behavior. And that Molly not only, and I wonder if Molly still feels the same way that after she watched the show back. I wonder if she'll still feel that way. I doubt it. But Molly could have done so many things, but instead she chose to be a girl's girl. She chose to stick up for Lauren. Not only did she didn't give Dave any space with her at all, like none, right? But she stuck up, stood in the gap, tried to talk to Dave, and I just love the fact that she stood up for her fellow woman. Because Molly was really addressing the questions that we had, right? Like, if this is all about your sister and parents, but not you, then why didn't you stand up for Lauren? And then Molly asked the real question, when's the last time you did something? Why are you over here trying to clock other people's tea? Molly is a gem. And we need more women like Molly out here. Love Molly down.
See, wait, you need more women like Molly, but she ain't never had a significant other or somebody that she could claim. That's what you want.
What they got to do?
That's what you want for your sister, for the sisterhood. That's
No, Molly maybe needs to work on her own boundaries and needs to work on her own ability.
Twin, we can't rock with that. You said that we need more women like Molly, and Molly's over here popping in for pimp to anybody without any title.
First of all, you
that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what you
now, okay?
Yeah,
you're being obtuse real seriously right now, Easton, because that has nothing to do with her dating life.
Because I find it interesting that when Molly and Lauren were having this chat in the pods, everything was all up in the air. Molly and Lauren weren't friends. They were actually being a pick-me. Whatchamacallit was.
Molly was being a pick-me or Lauren was being a pick-me?
Lauren was being a pick-me. Both of them, really. If we want to call a spade, both of them being a pick-me.
I mean, well, technically, everybody's a pick-me on Love is Blind because they want to be picked. So, I mean, I don't. How far are we pushing this?
I like how your narrative changed on her. Which, okay, you're more within your right.
My narrative doesn't change. You're talking about her hoeing behavior affects the fact that I like her, and it really has nothing to do with it. Now, if she even admitted that one time she was a side chick and it was the worst thing that she ever did, and she'll never do that again. So my thing is, if she's being a side chick type of hoe, then no, I don't F with Molly. But she already said that she is a girl's girl, and her behavior showed me that she was a girl's girl. And so for that, I don't care if she wants to hoe on her own time and she never finds love. That's on her. What does that have to do with her?
All I'm saying is, I think she would have done herself more of a service if she would have got all the information. Again, Dave wasn't gonna come forth and be in terms of being. He was a coward. But at the end of the day, she came in with a position to Dave, and she had none of the facts. That was the problem.
Dave clarifying questions.
No, she did. She clearly took a stance. Let's
ask Dave. No, she was listening. Dave provided her nothing that would change her mind.
Anyway,
let's be for real. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Molly did have a position. She did have a feeling. She did have thoughts when she went into the conversation. But she also gave room for David to provide additional information to which he didn't.
And when it wasn't to her satisfaction. It wasn't to what her narrative and her position wanted. That was what it was.
He was still lying. He was talking about how his family doesn't like her when he knows good and well he ain't brought no information to his family.
And she's only going off of what he's saying. So she could have been bipartisan, but she wasn't. What she chose to do was.
I feel like, okay, Kojo, this
I get what you're saying, C-Way.
I'm running tracks around the drain right now. Literally, yeah. I'm running a 400-meter dash around the drain. I don't even know what we're doing.
All I'm saying is with Molly specifically, I feel like she was a tad bit disingenuous because how things happen. And now again, she went into that point not knowing if Lauren and Dave were even together. She was about to blow up the spot. I saw him with a whole another woman was all over him. She didn't have all the information or the facts to even come to Dave with anything, but she chose a position, and what she chose to do was be a girl's girl. And cool, that's more power to her. But I don't think that she should have, given that she didn't know what was going on, and then even more so that how fake her and Lauren were in the pods. They had a whole fake relationship. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and now you're gonna be like, "Oh, we're best friends." Not gonna happen.
I don't get into white girl tea. I don't understand white girl, relationships. Whatever. All I can say is what I seen from Molly. Kojo, you're such a troll. What I seen from Molly, I particularly enjoyed. I thought that she stood on business and she asked the questions that we all had. And I appreciated that she didn't go in there trying to steal somebody's man. She went in there trying to ask clarifying questions. Did she find any understanding? No, she did not, because Dave was still lying. I'm not sure what more you wanted from her. Now, her and Lauren being fake white girlfriends, perhaps. I already told Jay and Sean, and they told me they didn't know what I was talking about. There's a whole undercurrent of white tea people society going on in this show that I feel like I don't understand. I asked for a white tea person interpreter. No one wants to provide that to me. And so there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to understand. I can only talk about what I get. You get what I'm saying? Lauren and Molly has a whole like white tea woman interaction. I don't understand that. I don't speak that language.
Can we get a free white tea interpreter in here, please?
I think that was a twin versus twin. And listen, hey, look, I think personally, with the Molly situation, I said it in my original thing. I said Molly's interesting. I think Molly wants to be a girl's girl. I think she wants to be part of the girls group, but her behavior is not part of the girls group. It actually isn't, and that's why I found her. I won't even say disingenuous. I think she was trying to make up when she make up points so she can be part of the girls group, because actually originally when it happened, when she came in, they had remember that scene where they did a 10 and Lauren was outside but Molly had all the girls, you know what I'm saying to you, and then when Molly got told, when Dave did not tell her that it was over, let's be honest, Dave kind of lied, okay? He wanted to force Molly to try and end it because Dave's a coward. We have to be honest about that, okay? He's a coward. When he didn't actually fully end it, so the very thing that he's blaming Lauren for, that he couldn't do himself, when he didn't end it and Molly came back in the room, she instantly went off on Dave, talking about no one should really be getting with Dave. You know what I'm saying to you? So at that point, she should have just let Lauren go on there, but she didn't. She wanted to let everybody know when she was hurt. My thing with Molly is that, yeah, she's all like, going to talk to Dave and saying all these things and being great about it and trying to help and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like she's trying to get some brownie points. But that's me on a darker side. I want to say that there's another side of me that says she's being genuine, and she genuinely was looking out for Lauren, and she saw that Dave maybe is better for Lauren. Now, if that sounds like cock and ball, it probably is cock and ball. Jay, go for it.
There may be a part of Molly that is okay with Team Lauren because she didn't see anything yet. Had she known what Lauren was doing, I think she's a little bit different. But there's a lot of Molly that was trying to get back at Dave. So she was kind of like in that space of, ha, 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 got you, because now your stuff's still ruined anyway. You still ain't made it anyway. So that's why she was okay with checking him and being Team Lauren at the end of it all and stuff. But had she known what Lauren was doing too, I think we would have probably seen a different space between the two, more like, keep me out of it. That's between y'all. Keep me out of it.
I see she didn't ask Lauren what was all into it, but she ran with whatever Lauren told her, like her daddy did on Dave. So I don't have no sympathy. I agree with you, Jay.
Sympathy for who though?
I don't have no sympathy for any of the talks that we have on Molly.
She don't need no sympathy. She ain't got nothing. But okay.
I don't have none. Molly came in there like she knew everything. She charged Dave
Molly came in there to scorch the earth, okay? Because Lauren did not ask her about Dave having a woman all over him. Molly played both sides of that fence. Oh, did you know he had a woman all over him that night? Okay. And then she went to Dave. Oh, you've been talking trash about her to your family. Molly went and Molly was like, you didn't pick me. You didn't really end it with me. You pick until you pick bull. And how do you like laying in this bed of bull that you got, Dave? Okay? So I'm sorry. Molly came in. She may look like the girl's girl, and she may not be talking to Lauren now after she realized Lauren played her in the pods. She thought she was playing. Molly thought she was playing. Trying to keep Dave's name under wrap. No, now she realized Lauren was playing to the end. And it's like, ha ha ha. You got what you wanted, and you realize that the toy ain't as good as when you got it home. I at least told you it was 6 months. I at least gave you my whole report, honestly, and it wasn't good enough for you. So I'm sorry. While it may seem to others that Molly was being nice and genuine, and Lauren, I'm on your side, but I saw your man last night with a girl all over him. They're already done. Molly knew they were done. Why did you need to present this to Lauren
Well,
when
I
you
don't
knew
know
your
if she
girl
knew
is hurt?
they were
No,
done.
she didn't. She told
She
her
didn't. I
afterwards.
don't think
She
she.
told her
Yeah, she
afterwards.
didn't know they was done. She was being a little dark arts on that one too.
She came in there to wreak havoc, but she didn't realize it was already wrecked by the two of them.
She just wanted that excuse to go talk to Dave because she didn't talk to him that other time. So when Lauren gave her the green light, like, oh, he was about this about me, and she was like, oh, cool. Let me go throw some stuff in his face. Let me go. That's so she did ask clarifying questions, but them questions was just for more so she can come at Dave.
I definitely hear that. Yeah, I definitely hear that. We've been cacking up. Sean, you done messed up the hour and 10, boy. You better have a good excuse. You better had been with Molly or something. What's going on, bro?
Molly.
No, we were just talking about Molly and Dave and Lauren's situation. So I know you haven't had your say. So we'll let you round up because we're about to go to the next couple. What's your thoughts on this Molly, Dave, Lauren situation? How you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's just you know, an unfortunate turn of events the way things devolved. One, I think listen, I feel bad for Lauren in the way that she just got kind of done bad there. And then I also don't feel bad for her to an extent because Dave told her who he was in the pods. And I think she went against. If she truly understands what she wants, she went against her own well being to try to think that Dave was going to be the one for her. She did a couple little manipulative moves to try to get Dave to choose her over Molly. And so I think it's like sometimes we have to F around and find out, and she did. I think we see a couple examples of when the ladies kind of try to align with somebody who really doesn't align with them. And I think that's just it's going against your gut instincts, going against what's in your best interest. And then you find out because you don't think the person's going to do it to you. So you think, oh, I can get this person, and and they're not going to do it to me. And then he turned around and did it to you. He said he was a jerk. He said he was an a-hole. He was incredibly, rude and just weird in the pods, asking stupid questions. Asking the woman, what's wrong with you? He gets together with Lauren finally, and they're on the honeymoon, which I think is hella wild. And he's just being rude to her, telling people she pees a lot, talking about her hair, telling her hair is pretty much ugly. It's like, why are you wanting to keep pursuing this relationship with somebody who is not liking you? That just tells me something about her self-esteem because it's not like it's something, it's a short period, it's a long period of time. Like in a very short period of time, the person is showing signs that they don't like you. And she's a smart person. Now we're down to him trying to dig into your past and asking all these questions, and there's friends and sisters and family members. Yeah, I just think that it's ridiculous. I think he's also a coward because he does have a right to not like her for whatever reason. But he should just say it for what it is and not like I think it was me and Seaway and maybe El Cid, we were talking about this the other day, and I was just saying this is just a clear cut case of triangulation. When you
It was he.
use people to when you use people to manipulate, and you separate people out, and then you say, well, this person over here, you never bring the person forward, but you like leverage them. Like my friend is saying, my sister is saying, and he keeps doing that to her. And you just see him like just twisting and twisting and twisting the knife, keep using that as leverage when he's never, it's like dangling something in front of somebody and leveraging the person, and he's never going to bring the person forward. He's never going to give her a true chance to talk to that person. But it's like, up, this person over here is saying this, so can't really move forward. And when people do things like that's horrible. So I'm glad he, cut it off, didn't move forward, because if he's already starting to show signs like that, and it just would have been horrible. And lastly, kudos to her dad, because whatever her dad said to her, and I think this is when men can do justice for their daughters, because unfortunately we've seen in previous seasons the dads sometimes don't set their daughters up for success, or they don't really have the right conversations. That father made a lasting impression on him because he was pissed. Can't believe your dad did this, and your dad's talking about this, and I'm upset. He threw such a hissy fit. Something was left with him when he was like, I don't even want to try to pretend that I'm going to even try to move forward with this. He shut it down. So I'm glad.
Appreciate it, Sean. Thank you. Listen, let's go to the next couple as well. Good on you guys for discussing that at good level. Let's talk about another big one, because we got Ben and Sarah. Okay, Ben and Sarah, we got them and their situation, and we can see that unfortunately Ben and Sarah, they I shouldn't say unfortunately, they've gone to the altar, so we don't know what they're going to say. But with Ben and Sarah, their biggest issue is their thoughts around church, LGBTQA. Her sister is obviously in a lesbian relationship. He is saying that he is a Christian, but he's open to having different thoughts, and he's progressive like she is. But the sister feels like maybe Sarah's not being true to herself. Sarah just wants to please everybody, it seems like. But Sarah really likes Ben. She said I love you, and he said I love you too, and it seems like a fairy tale. But I want to get your thoughts on Ben and Sarah. Is this a match made in heaven, or is it a match made in hell? Yes, thank you. Listen, I need to stop. The haircut's got me messed up. Sorry, it's the second day I'm on this thing. I'm so sorry. Ben and Sarah, I want to know your thoughts, guys. What's your thoughts on Ben and Sarah, guys? Is it working for you, or is there something else that we should be looking at when it comes to Ben and to Sarah? As he's Sarah, but to Sarah. Yes, Easton.
First and foremost, we have to give Ben an award, an Oscar award for his acting, because that man is a next level actor. He is laying it on thick. I can appreciate him for that, and him trying to lead with his best foot forward. And Sarah, she's doing her best to try to make this thing work. Although she has some I think her inner, I'll say, I just call it a blanket statement. Like, I think she's quite a bit of a feminist in a way. Like, I think that she's maybe a tad bit performative in some of her actions and the things that she says. But in terms of their relationship, I think it's a facade. I think that Ben is trying to look good, and he's using, I always say nice guy tactics, but he is by being very conformative to what she believes, and being super flexible and malleable, and doing things and positioning things that are how she would like it. And for her, she's betraying her own thoughts. Like, if you're gonna be somebody like this who's gonna have, I won't say radical thoughts, but gonna be leaning one way or another, you need to find somebody who's ingrained in your beliefs and your value set. And Ben doesn't. I know that there's been a lot of stuff and a lot of conjecture online about what Ben is or what he's done in the past. And granted, these things are allegations from 4 years ago. This isn't the same as Alex, but about him dating and ghosting people. And so as far as the show, I don't judge him based off of that, because he hasn't done anything that would be an indicator off of that past stuff. And I also think 4 years is enough time to maybe change. He might have found God within that 4 years. So I do give him a little bit of opportunity to change. But nonetheless, I think that they, it's just a fake relationship. And, Ben's acting, Sarah's acting, Sarah's letting her sister and everybody else kind of get involved. Her sister seems really imposing of her judgments and her thoughts. And again, Ben has really good acting skills, and he's hired a lot of good acting friends, and that's what it is.
Now them friends done came forth to Easton and showed pictures of them being friends with this man for some time now. Okay, probably within the 4 years of his change. Okay, especially the one friend that said she was drunk as a skunk and he took her to church the next day. But first of all, uh, I'm gonna agree to a certain degree because I don't know how you're gonna have good acting skills and be a bad actor. I don't know how you're gonna be that, but I do agree that he act like he go to church because that is not a real church. I'm sorry, I don't know what that non-denominational thing is, but
No,
what
white people have that all the time.
I know. That's what I said. I don't know what it is, though. Yes, excuse me. We got a TV screen. We was at church at home in the church. It was crazy to me. Okay, I was like, I don't know what's happening. And on top of it, I didn't hear one scripture being said. But that's neither here nor there. That's just how I feel about church. Everybody has to each their own. Okay, so do what you do. He is going to something on a regular basis, so I will give him that. Okay, what they learning in there, I'm not really sure, but whatever they think is they still don't agree with same sex anything. So regardless of the fact that he does have friends or whatnot that are of the same sex community and all of this stuff like that, his church beliefs, his beliefs or whatever he got going on with them people, they don't believe in it because Sarah heard something that it just didn't sit right with her from one of their videos she done found somewhere and stuff. So for me, these two, Sarah need to go ahead and release that man because I know he feels right now that it's okay, everything is okay, what they're saying is okay, the beliefs and where he stands in some of his beliefs is okay, but it's not really okay for her. She's denouncing her own mother. She's denouncing her own mother and her mother's religion for her sister and her sister's beliefs. Okay. At this point, Sarah might is about a hug away from being gay herself. Let's be honest. All right. How strong she feeling about this situation. You know, I got people that's within the community too, but that's what you do. If that's what you want to do, that's what you do. And if my people over here that's not in the community don't want to do it, they don't have to do it either. I know how to be within the middle of the both. But when you go this far as having to force a person to almost change their religion or their church that they go to suit your needs, just let that person go. Just let them go. Okay, now can we find a church or something together that works for the both of us? Yes, for sure, we can do that. But she's not even really wanting to go to that because the mama was like, well, maybe he can get you back into it. And so she gave that mama such the ugliest look ever. I was like, yeah, she's not trying to go spend any of her Sundays, Thursdays, any night of the week doing anything religious. She was looking crazy when the pastor started doing the stuff. I was like, she don't want no whatsoever things to do with God, not church, God at this point. So I need you, Ben, to release yourself. Nana over here is saying, Lord, is it got you walking with faith and all this stuff? You are well within the church, as far as I'm concerned. And you need to stay in it. And you need to leave Sarah, whatever her name is, leave that lady alone. Leave her all the way alone. I hope she do say no. I hope she really do so she can release everybody from this whole that she wants to have. But you know what? She gives me a little pick-me behavior. She gives me a little desperate. So I'm not totally sure where we're going to go with this or whatnot. The sister's trying to talk her off the ledge because the sister I think the sister know that she probably introducing her to some of the friends herself. She probably trying to introduce her to some gay friends herself or whatnot. I'm not sure what's going on, but the sister is giving me little hater vibes. The sister's girlfriend is giving me little hater vibes because it's like, I don't know what they got. This it's not even the whole gay thing that gives me a problem. It's the whole anti-God thing that's giving me the more problem because it's more so it's just like they do not like God. I don't even think the mama denounced the sister for the gay stuff. It's more so they just don't like God and religion. That's giving me more of the hold up with Sarah and her sister than anything. So I think that's for me. It's gonna be a little weird. I don't want them together. I don't want them together. For whatever reason, I just don't want them together. They don't need to be. It would have been a cute couple, but they got strong differences and they just need to go on their separate ways.
Well, if I could piggyback off of that, it seems like Sarah and her lesbian sister and partner have kind of got to the place where I think us as Christians kind of have to stop our place from getting to, where like the church and its ideologies and the people in it make you resent not only religion, but sometimes you go as far as like resenting God. And if you don't have people that kind of like stop you from getting to that place, it seems like you start to associate Christianity, God, and everything with the contradictions that is kind of modern day Christianity and conservatism. And I think you have to stop yourself from getting there, because I think a lot of us can get there, and I think that's where she's at. And it's unfortunate because you know Jay, and people know I've gone through it with my childhood church this year, and it really kind of disrupted my spirit to the point where like I saw her face in church, and I've recently, like when I hear scriptures or I hear church, I find myself rolling my eyes as if I'm like agitated by the whole idea of it. And it actually is funny that we're talking about this, is like just a couple of days ago I was like, I have to recenter, because now every time I hear somebody pray or I hear somebody read a scripture, I associate it with hypocrisy. And I find myself just getting very angry, and I think I'm just angry about what happened. And so I don't know if that's her story, but I think that's how you get there. And sometimes when you get really far to where she's at, I think it's kind of hard to walk yourself back. And so I do hope that she does walk herself back. I pray that for her. But I don't know, because she seems pretty far at this point. So you can only hope that she can walk herself back. As far as it is with Ben, I think her and Ben, and somebody said this on TikTok, and I don't want to, repurpose this as my own, but I will for this purpose, is that white women, again, I'm going to talk about white women especially, are very keen on like having these performative ideals. And remember when they were wearing like the little bracelets after the election to say that they voted for Kamala and stuff like that, when in reality they'll say that, and then when it's time to actually stand on business, they don't stand on business. Because after Ben told her that he didn't even have an opinion on Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, and she basically said, like, I have a lesbian sister, is like this, I believe in Black Lives Matter, I believe in all these things. And he was just like, whatever. And she find her way to like tell her sister, we have the same values. And then she even starts telling her sister, well, I'm conservative financially, but just not socially. Ho, what are you talking about? And so she's a ball of confusion. She's twerking on the fence. And Ben is twerking on the fence, being a liar and an actor, trying to act like he's okay with it. I don't know who's going to say no. I think they're both going to say no, but Ben is definitely going to say no. Ben is a David 2.0. He's clocking T and he's playing around. He's playing along. As soon as that girl says she don't want to go to his church, he was done before that, but he's definitely done, because he's one of them type of person who want to be in church, talk about the gay people going to hell, and not actually care about anything that relates to actually people being better. Long as that he's sitting up in church, he thinks he's right with Christ. That's Ben. And then she's darn near at the other end, mad that you even talk about Jesus. So I don't know what they're doing together, and they're pissing me off. But I do pray that she finds her way back to the Lord. That's all I can say. And I have nothing for Ben except for he's a typical white man, a typical problematic white man at best. At worst, he's worse than that. But yeah.
I think with Sarah, what I'm guessing is with the mother's deeply religious stance, that the church was not welcoming when her sister came out. That's just the guess. And she's taken that on really harshly. And it's a sister. And we all understand the impact of sisters on this show, okay? So what I'm going to say is that Sarah is not being true to herself in a sense of, is this for you or is this for your sister? Did your religious changes happen because of what the church deemed people in your sister's category? It seems like Sarah doesn't understand, one, herself, two, how to understand herself, not even in relation to the sister, if you can understand. It's kind of like, who are you, Sarah? And you need to be centered in yourself. And Ben is not it. I'm sorry. Ben is not it. You're going to his church. You looked irritated in the pew. You looked like, I don't want to be here. I'm here to be filmed and on camera. And where is Ben going to, like, can we take him to the local activist center? I mean, we see her go into the church. Where do we see Ben stretching his legs to come into her world? Is it supposed to be having drinks with her sister? That ain't it. I mean, let's see Ben out there marching with her or something. But the mother saying, hey, maybe he could get you to go to church with me, or maybe you'll come with me, she ain't on it. The way she said, oh, maybe we'll look for a home church together, she ain't on it. Because for her, in the way she's looking at it now, is either church or my sister. And it can't be both. And maybe she will find her path. Maybe she will, in her journey, she will find her way back to the word. But right now, Ben ain't the light or the way to the word. She needs to just say no at the altar and keep it pushing. But she should have said no at the pods. I think they're both here to be performative, quite frankly. People are telling people honestly in the pods what I'm not for, and they're still picking them, still saying yes. I'm sorry, but Sarah needs to just stick to herself and say, no, this ain't it for me.
Sean Easton.
I'll go. Yeah, I think I don't have much to add. I definitely agree, with what Elle said last 100%. I think they're both very performative. It seems like if Ben was so dug into his beliefs, I don't understand how he would even choose a woman to be his wife like Sarah. So I think his all of this, being a devout Christian is performative, because at the end of the day, you wouldn't be choosing a wife that is all the way on the other side, barely wants to go to church, not really interested in that. Your values don't align. So I think they align on whiteness, you know, and I think she's pretty. And uh, she's performative because nobody asked her to be an advocate for BLM. It was 2024 when this was, when they shot this, I believe. Who even talks about BLM anymore? So if you're going to be that dug in, talking about all these movements, talking about George Floyd, and then turn around and accept someone who says they opt out of it, that should be telling you everything you know. So for me, it's just a social experiment and just a lens into the world that we live in. And it's just no surprise. I think it just infuriates me watching this season. A lot of the antics of some of these folks, and all across the board. And as we, every single couple, it's like, oh, so this is how we got the person in the presidential seat. This is how it happened. It happened just like this. So it is agitating for me to see people with all of this privilege and not really using their privilege in the right ways. Let you know this is how things go the way that they go. And I wish them well. I really hope Sarah wakes up, because although Sarah's sister and partner are bulldozing her, they're actually telling her what's in her best interest, because they're not aligned. It's just going to be nothing but strife. Foundationally, you don't have anything in common. That is the worst kind of relationship to start, and especially a marriage. And there's so many more hills to climb, and your foundation is so way off. Yeah, it's problematic. So I hope she sets him free and sets herself free once they get down to the altar.
But
And
to Sean's point, I appreciate this experience because I don't think that Black people who don't interact in solely white spaces fully understood how white women literally go against everything that's in their best interest. When we have Lauren and then we have Sarah, in Lauren's case, she saw that Dave was conservative, didn't really believe a lot about like women's bodies, women's choice and freedoms and this and that. But she wasn't bothered by it until her ability to use her body how she saw fit came into an issue. And that's what happened, going into the election cycle. Same thing with Sarah. It's like this man told you that he was, agnostic to it. And you were deeply troubled by it, but you chose your whiteness and your pick me side of yourself. And that trumped everything. And that is what a lot of these white women do. Time and time and time again. Time again. And so, and B. Stephanie says there's nothing wrong with conservatism. There definitely is something wrong with conservatism in 2025. Now, if this conversation was going on and we were picking the difference between John McCain and I don't know, insert in Joe Biden, no, then this wouldn't be a conversation. But in 2025, conservatism is directly aligned with a lot of problematic stuff. So yes, there is something wrong with it. There is.
so here's the flip side to this Sarah and this BML thing, though. The real question is, because right now Ben has a more diverse friend group that we least seen than she actually does. I want to know why you really supporting BML. Is it because of their creed that is no men really? It's feminist group and it's ran by two gay lesbian women. Is that the real reason, or is it actually you support Black people? You know what I'm saying? Like, because that just popped out of anywhere. So it's a lot more questions that needs to go on. So she might not be betraying too much of her conservative side on the real thing. It's just the fact that the conservatives don't like too much of the gay in certain areas. So that's her problem. But it's not like you really for us Black people. Let's be honest. Are you really for us Black people, or are you like just supporting the movement because of their underlining cause or the people that's behind it?
It could be a little bit of mixture of both. I mean, she could be dog whistling because I think a lot of people dog whistle and say that they're supportive of this just to kind of bring in the masses. But in reality, they'll vote and they'll champion another thing. Once you get in the polls and you start to see where people align their votes with, and you see how things tend to happen. Not to make this overly political, but I do think that they lie to each other. They're lying to each other. Ben is going against the grain. If he truly, I think if Ben really did have it in his heart, and or maybe he does, but he's putting the limelight and the stardom and the financial or the show above his own beliefs. Maybe that's superseding what his actual beliefs are, and he's betraying himself at the end of the day, because there's no way that you can make, I don't think there's any way that you can make this work with somebody who has these core belief issues that are like the fact that you have somebody that said that, oh, I might come for the holidays and for Easter. And I mean, I think that that's a whole different can of worms. And then for Sarah to have to deal with somebody who, is against her core beliefs, or at least that she has to constantly pick at to maybe try to change or ask them. It seemed like she was always curious and she didn't know where he stood on a lot of stuff. He got a little agitated. I could tell his mask kind of slipped a bit when they were on the last dinner date, and she kept on asking about the church, and she did her own research, and she was wondering what his stance was. And what he ended up doing, he was just like, I'm too tired to even think about it, which a lot of Caucasian guys have the privilege to do, of not thinking about what their life circumstances or their decisions maybe impact on other people. But yeah, I'm glad the result will be the result, and I hope they do themselves a service and choose better or do better next time. And so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, it is a very difficult situation. I think Sarah's in a very I try to be a bit more understanding of people, but it's very difficult. I think she's in a position where she's trying to please a lot of people, and that's very difficult for her. So, as much as I do believe she's got a lot of privilege, I do understand how difficult it can be. Look, trying to help people, trying to be involved in those things, like sometimes you jump on stuff that you want to be able to help people with, but you don't know the full depth of the situation. So like I always say, like people support as much as they understand as well, you know what I mean? Like, so I think Sarah is just, she's someone who is, I think she cares about people a lot, and I think that's what leads her into these spaces, like wanting to support a lot of these groups. But then it also, I think what has happened is that she hasn't also developed her own belief system in terms of what she holds, so it leads her into different avenues, trying to, she doesn't want to upset her mum, but then because her mum's also from the Christian side, but don't want to upset her sister because the sister's obviously got the LGBTQA as well, and then she's got her own little kind of, I guess, beliefs that she's doing. She's trying to stand up for those who maybe BLM, and like I said, I thought the same thing, Jay. I said BLM, well, that particular thing, BLM as an actual movement is different from BLM, the actual kind of, the organization that they created, which had a particular leadership standing group. So it's like, it's hard. It's a lot of different belief systems in there, and it's very difficult, like I said, because obviously things are intertwined. Things are very hard and cross-wired, right? Because like everything is very charged. You know what I mean? Like politics itself is now racially charged. So it's very difficult now to have a conversation and so on, whether you're black or white. If somebody said they were black and they were voting for Trump, people are gonna get they're gonna get their tails up. It might not be a normal conversation. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So it's very difficult discussing what people are supporting, what they're following, what they believe in, as well. And so that makes it difficult for some people to really be true and honest with themselves. So I just hope that obviously Sarah and Ben can really be honest with themselves. If maybe they're both performative, and that maybe that'll work for them. That they'll finally realize, actually, now the shows, the cameras are gone. Let's be real. This is what I'm on. She'd be like, you know what? Thank God. I wasn't really an activist, but I had to keep saying these things. You know what I mean? Like maybe they'll get to that stage. Who knows? Or it'll go the other way. Maybe more than likely is that they'll both be like, actually, no, I do believe in this. I didn't say all my truths, and actually we're just not compatible, and we'll go different ways. So I hope that they have honest conversations going forward, that will help them as well. So yeah. Any last thoughts on Ben and Sarah? If not, I'll move on. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's move to the next one then. Obviously, Joey and Monica, they are another couple that was on this particular episode, from episodes 9 to 11. And with Joey and Monica, it's interesting because they seem to be, well, Joey's very high tempo, of course, but Joey met Monica's sister, and she said obviously why she felt there might be a little bit of an issue between the two of them. She let them know that she had judged him incorrectly, and that she got it wrong, but at the same time, we see that her thing for next week, it don't look too good. She's cussing that man again. So I want to get you guys' thoughts for Joey and Monica. Where do you see them? What things did you pick up? How did you judge them on these last few episodes as well? Elsa rolled her eyes. Elsa, why you roll your eyes for Joey and Monica? Well, go on.
I'm sorry, the sisters are getting a bad rap on this entire show, and we're not talking about Dave. We don't know if he has a sister or not. The sister is just blocking. And then Joey clocked that they don't even hug. You're supposed to be close enough to share socks, but we don't even hug as sisters. Is it I know my man still wants you kind of we don't hug, or what is it? I just thought, again, performative. I thought we were just there to showcase that the sister's a photographer. So if you need one in Minnesota, hit her up. The sisters aren't helping in this instance, but I'm glad that Monica did talk to her sister. I'm glad she let it be known, but the sister gave a half beep excuse. I'm sorry. You're too high energy and we're a napping family. Really? Really? Is that all you got? What has Joey shown you that he is either dismissive or he's toxic or he's whatever? What has he shown you? Because I'm sure you haven't even listened to what your sister said. And I'd like to see who is the Italian model that your sister used to date back in the day, because I think that is just hogwash. And I still don't know if hogs wash. But anyway, the point is that Joey and Monica, I like their relationship so far. I like how they're going. I like how they're speaking to each other. But I feel like I haven't seen Joey's interaction with his family. I don't know if she has met his family. So there's an underlying of something is kind of hidden that we really don't know a whole lot about. That I'm like, it can't all be on Monica. We can't only be seeing Monica. Joey's side is just a little too hidden. But I like that she allows him to be himself. He's going to be wearing his Hawaiian shirts all the time. That's perfectly fine. But there's something missing there, and I don't quite know what it is. But they seem to be interacting well.
Can we leave room? And I know y'all gonna be like, no, we can't. Can we leave room that the sister is a hater by nature? She seems like a certified hater, stamper. But can we leave room for the fact that she may not have the words for what she's sensing with Joey? Because can I finish? Little thirsty self. Because it seems like Joey is giving, I wouldn't say the hyper energy. I actually think it's the opposite of what her sister peeped. Joey's very nonchalant when it comes to Monica. Her name Monica. Very nonchalant when it comes to Monica, and I feel like she's the one who's kind of all in, and their vibes and their energy is not matching. I don't think it's what the sister said, but I am peeping that the energy is not on one accord. So I'm not sure if the sister saw that and just didn't put the right words to it, but it seems like all of the sisters, whether they're haters or not, are all right about what they're saying. It's just that the delivery or how they're saying it is wrong. So I just want to leave room for that.
I'm not. I won't. I don't think that maybe that is maybe. I'm trying not to disagree with Seaway because we always have our little issues with the disagreement, but I think that there's some credence to that. But with Monica's sister, one, I clocked it, but she didn't even show up to the bridal shower. It was her friend. Now this your sister who allowed you to take pictures and get press off of you and Joey's time in her business, but you ain't at the bridal shower. I said, I find that interesting. If I was Joey, I say, get thee behind me, Satan, because you're not supposed to get no type of press, no type of clout off of my moment. But hey, that's me, and I'm not that brother. But neither here nor there. The sister, what I get a sense of is that Joey has a vibe and gets a sense to me that he's not really checked in and clocking in and feeling that Monica is a good fit for him. I know that Joey's family hasn't been shown a lot, but most people we haven't seen Monica's grandmother that she's taking care of. We don't know what the severity of that is and that entails, and we don't know the severity if Joey's taking care of his entire family, basically what that entails. So I think that for him, he's over here like, does this make sense? And for him, Monica doesn't make sense. It wouldn't be a good fit in terms of the dissension between their family. And also, he might be a tad bit selfish. He's 34. He's like, oh, I might need somebody who's more of a helpmate rather than somebody who I have to bring in and we have to acquiesce all of our stuff together. And that's perfectly fine if that's not a fit for him. But I saw whenever they were at the dinner date, he in his mind, he's clocking, does this make sense? And it doesn't in his mind. Between the sister, the family, even how I guess the opinion of her sister tends to like sway Monica's emotions one way or another. I think that there's a lot more into it that he's reading, and not saying that Joey is without fault, but I'm saying that he's clocking some stuff that we might not be privy to. And I think it's perfectly normal that we haven't seen his family yet, because if he is the sole taker, like sole healthcare taker of his entire family, that it might be a little bit more, I'd be a little bit more reserved with, showing them on TV, all that different stuff. And also bringing somebody that's in my life and around them if they're not going to be in my life that long, because I don't think that they're going to work out.
Well, Easton, I hate to bust your disagreeable bubble because you actually agree with Seaway a lot more if what your point is saying than you're saying that you're just trying to disagree about the sister being two things at one time. She can be a hater and still feel that something's wrong with Joey, and I think that is the case. Even Monica feels something is wrong with Joey, and I don't disagree that there's a blockage there. Monica brought up the fact that he has not been all in or forthcoming on how he actually feels about her or anything like that. So there is a blockage, and the sister is picking it up on it. The sister is a hater, she's a hard nut to crack. But sometimes you need some of those people in your life that is just not going to go with all your BS that you putting down sometimes and stuff. Now she's trying to be a little bit in the middle because she like, I don't want to look this crazy on TV. I don't want to look like an all out hater on TV, but she does feel something or whatnot. There's something there. There's not a debate, Easton. There's not a debate. Okay,
Right.
let me finish. Let me finish where I'm going. Let me finish where I'm going. There's not a debate. All right. There's something there that is a blocking. Now, it could be what you're saying, Easton. If he got so much going on that he's just not open up to anything else new. That's that possibility. There's also possibility is he's not feeling their whole family dynamic or just the sister dynamic between the two of them or whatnot. There's a possibility he just doesn't have the capacity in him for a certain type of love because of all he's been dealing with since childhood. He said he's basically been taking care of his family since he was a child. He's been the parent for since he was a child. So there just might not be a level of capacity to bring anything new into his world. But there's some type of blockage there that Joey is withholding some of himself from even Monica, from her even feeling like he's all in. She's still waiting. She's saying that she's being reserved because she's waiting to feel more from him or whatnot. She says she's trying to be all in and she's all in or whatever. And she more than likely is all in because they family like to be all in your socks and all in your business. So, they're weird. But it is kind of weird, like Elsie said, that y'all can be in each other's socks, but y'all can't hug. Y'all can't do PDA in that manner with each other. You know what I'm saying? But you're close enough to talk crazy to each other or share boyfriends. So that is kind of weird and strange or whatever. And maybe it's because we're sharing boyfriends, we don't want to touch each other because we don't want to be ancestral. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. They're sharing a lot already. You'll see it. So and one more thing. Well, we be already on that other side of the bridge. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what it is. There's just something there. It on paper and by quirkiness they fit, but there's something that's keeping them apart. There's something there that is keeping them apart. The sister picks up on it. I I, I want to believe more to them that they can be more, but I just don't know what it is either. And I guess I would have to probably be in their energy space to figure it out more. But it's some type of blockage. Oh my God, hold on. If you don't get your butt down,
Could the blockage be how romantic are they? We see them playing. I mean, we occasionally hear Joey say, I love how your eyes look. But how romantic are they to build a marriage?
well, aren't they the first ones that we know from Dave's inquiry that they had some relations? I
Right.
mean, I know the relations are different from actual affection and stuff, but
Mm. I guess my point of view was that we have to like break it down by segment, and if we go initially, I think that everything was good once they went from the honeymoon the into real life. The issue is whatever happened whenever Joey met the family, it seemed like it turned everything upside down. So that's why I don't want us to have revisionist history. I think things were fine. And then as many people know, I mean, ladies, you probably met your significant other's family and maybe it didn't catch your fancy or they did something or said something that made you feel some type of way and it might have, changed the direction of the relationship. I think that that's perfectly fine. And I think that Joey may have picked up on that. And plus, Monica had them dirty old feet. The bottom of them heels was so dark, boy. I couldn't rock with that.
You be kidding me, Easton. Yeah, no. Listen, I mean, listen. I think Joey and Monica. Listen, I think two things can be right. I think I know what you're saying, Easton, and I know what also the ladies are saying as well on the other side. There does seem to be, and I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe they haven't fully explored those sides yet. I think they've got deep, but maybe there's some. Like I said, we said this earlier in the very beginning of the season that we don't know how they're gonna be when they finally, and you mentioned this, Easton, as well. How they finally gonna actually have a real relationship when they actually incorporate all the other factors, right? So whilst they're, because remember we said this, I said whilst they're in the pods, there's nothing else they have responsibilities for. But whilst they're outside of pods, responsibilities are going to start piling. How do they handle that? Do they have, Jay had a good expulsion on this a couple of weeks ago as well, talking about like having to look after someone and how that affects you. What do you have as an someone to help you in those spaces? Now we're seeing the responsibilities. Now we're seeing, well, we haven't even seen necessarily how the responses even play out, because actually we haven't seen that as in their lives, but we're seeing how the family is and how they're now interacting and stuff, right? And those things, how they're going to play a role and how it's going to affect them, right? Because in the pods, you're not having those external factors. So, you know, this is, someone said that this is the first time the sister hasn't found Monica's, hey, it could be, you know, I can't even lie to you, it could be. I think it's just the way that the sister's bringing it up, it does sound a little bit haterish. So it's like, and we haven't forgotten that very first one by the fire, you know, with her roasting no marshmallows, but then giving her absolute, you know, left and right buzzow, and not really having a real conversation in terms of actual genuine thoughts. Is like, you know, it just feels a little bit performative, a little bit by the sister, and that she's just trying to act. So it can feel like that, and it could be that sister has seen something. You know what I mean? It could be that sister's seen something. I haven't seen anything yet, per se. I haven't seen anything yet. But you know, I haven't seen anything yet. So, but I can still hold space for having two different points of view in this perspective. But for now, I'm gonna stay on the side of so far the sister's been a hater. So I will hear what you got to say, but I'll wait until I see something that then validates maybe what the sister was saying. You know what I mean? Because you can be a hater and still be right. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you can be a hater and be right. There are many people that don't hate people or hate on things, and they end up being right. And it doesn't mean they're actually right, but it's just because, listen, they were so hyper vigilant about everything, you know, they saw something, and they just nailed it. It's correct. The broken clock is right twice a day, as I said. Do you know what I mean? So it can happen. So yeah, we'll wait and see. For now, I just want to see how they're gonna handle their families, because that responsibility, that weight on them, it's gonna be very, very difficult, you know, in that space. Any other thoughts on Joey and Monica before we shift it again? No thoughts on that. Okay, cool. Let me just read out super chats quickly. Well, I said super chat. Shout out to Coley again once more. She is singing out super chats for us again. Super sticker 499. Thank you very much, Coley. It's always a pleasure when we have you on the channel. I know you're quite new around here, so it's good to have you on board and just supporting the channel as always. Thank you very, very much. Much love and much appreciation for that as well. Shout out to Seaway with the dropping of the 10 memberships for those who are in the chat. Yes, and it's a blessing when you give, okay? Better to give than it is to receive, but sometimes I like to receive, okay? All right, and that sounds wrong, but don't worry about that, okay? You're for Jesus now. You shouldn't let your ears take you somewhere it shouldn't take you, okay? You got more problem. The Bible says, focus on what is pure, okay? Focus on what is pure, all right? So shout out to Seaway as well, coming through with that as well. Shout out to also B Stephanie Bewitched, not bothered as well. Good to have you part of the membership team. We look forward to seeing you more and more and more around these lives with the family. You get me? Those of you who are obviously watching outside, we've got 400 people in the room. If you haven't joined the membership, make sure you're joining, man. It's £1, $1. And if you can't join through the link on the screen, or you can't join with the $ and clicking on there, change your device. If you're on your phone, go into your laptop. If you're on your laptop, go onto your phone. If you're on your iPad, go onto your phone. If you're on your phone, go onto your iPad. Whatever it is, just go onto a different device to link up to the members, because sometimes the internet be moving mad like that, and it works. Okay, it's a bit like hitting your TV and it coming back into clarity. Okay, yeah, we all grew up in those years, didn't we? Yeah, how many of us held an aerial? Yeah, said stand there, don't move. We've all been there, we've suffered sometimes, so you know about how this works. All right, so shout out to Renee as well, S77. We appreciate you for joining the membership as well. Good to have you on board as well. Okay, cool, fantasmismo. Okay, we're gonna go on to our next couple. For those, I was just let you guys know, for those of you who are members as well, when I edit the videos, some of the videos I edit from the long super chats, it's a long panels that we have will go into the members only, so I won't release them. So if you haven't become a member, I know some people have asked me to cut the videos so they can make it smaller. I will release one or two, but the rest of them will go into members. So just for something again for us members to have, and just to help as well, to create that kind of that safe space that we got, good energies. You know what I mean? All right, cool. Let's go on to our next couple because baby. It ain't easy. Let's talk, obviously, then about Daniel and Taylor really quickly, because again, they weren't very prominent in this episode as much I thought, because we did addresses and everything like that. We saw a bit of their mum again and everything as well. But they did a little Christmas thing. I love the little Christmas thing they did. It was nice to see them do a little Christmas thing. They had a little photo shoot as well. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. I thought it was nice. It was nice to see them, doing up the tree as well. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was nice. I thought seeing Daniel and Taylor like that, it was nice. You know what I'm saying to you? But I want to know, what are your thoughts on Daniel and Taylor? Do you see anything happening with these two? I think this is a good couple. I think this is a couple that we deserve on Love is Blind. They may not be the black love, but you know what? They fill my heart with joy from what I can see. You know what I mean? I know she crashed out a few episodes ago, but she has learned, it seems, and she's growing to like him. Now, had he been a bit, maybe 2 inches taller, maybe he had been 6 foot, I think she would have even loved him quicker. But she's getting there and she's growing, and it doesn't take much to grow because there's not much height on him, so it should be okay. All right, let's get some thoughts on this. Daniel and Taylor, how do you feel about these two? What are we saying about these two? Elsa, why are you looking like that?
Because you're acknowledging growing into love. I mean, are you
Oh,
acknowledging?
no, not for me.
Really?
No, not for me. No, but for them too, I can see it.
Okay. I just wondered why Daniel putting her in this position when it was Christmas photos that had her spiraling. I wouldn't have done it. She just last week or 2 weeks ago was spiraling about your Christmas photo. I thought I saw it in my IG. I wouldn't have done it with the whole show thing, but bless his heart. The only thing with Taylor mama told her, go change that dress. And she went and changed that dress. So I need to know that Taylor is going to be her own person when this is done. But they are certainly making strides. They're certainly, taking it day by day. And I do have hope for them. I'm hoping that they do say yes and they are in wedded bliss after this. But Taylor, it ain't your mama's wedding dress, it's yours.
Well, did she make her change the first dress, or what? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
is
told
it?
her the girls were out. The girls were out too much.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Oh, her mother is a firecracker like she is, so I think they speak the same language. I wouldn't even worry about them. They firecracker to firecrackers, so I just have one positive note. Love this couple. They're my favorite. I still love his patience. I love their interactions with each other. I want to say that Daniel saying, I don't know if people pick this up. I guess it's funny now that Elsa mentions the Christmas photo, saying that he's done the Christmas photo by himself for 5 years and he's so happy that he was able to add Taylor, reminded me of what I tell folks all the time, that you have to be so in love with yourself that you're willing to do things that you would always want to do with a partner. And then at some point, your partner will find you. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that, but I just loved how he did what made him happy for 5 years. He took pictures on his own for 5 years. And then finally he was able to add his wife. I just thought that was so cute. And I just feel like we should just keep doing what you love to do, because at some point you'll be able to add, your other half to it. Don't just do things to find your other half. Do things that make you happy. And I thought that was adorable. And Kojo, you're being funny. I'm so serious. I thought that was so cute. I love them. Yes, not black love, but it's about as close as we gonna get for this season. So very, very cute. Adorbs.
listen. I'm being serious. I actually do like them. Listen, they're as close to black as we're gonna get, love, in this series. So I'm gonna enjoy them.
I like
Who's
them a lot
next? Yes,
too.
Easton.
I like them a lot. I
That's
think
right,
that
Easton.
I do. I do. I want all. I mean, again, I could be a tad bit critical, but I want Daniel, yeah, eventually with enough time. I'm gonna need him to put the mom in check because even to the point where they're, I mean, granted, wedding dress time, you want your daughter to be this, that, and the third. But if she want to have a chi-chi's out, let her have her chi-chi's out. You over here trying to shame your daughter into having this tighten up to the neck dress. Let her do her thing.
That's a normal conversation though for women, moms, and women going dress shopping. That's a normal
His
conversation.
mama looked at her sideways though. See where his mama was like, "What?"
And then the contrast between Virginia and her mama, and Virginia had all the. I said,
well, I actually didn't like Virginia's dress on her.
It was a little bit too much for me.
I really didn't like Taylor's ultimate dress either. But it was because I didn't think it was flattering on her shoulders. I think when you got certain shoulders, you need to be careful about which dress you pick with your shoulders.
We can get on Virginia's and all the other dresses. I didn't like Virginia's dress. It gave me too much bedazzle for me. But again, I'm not gonna be the dress police over here today. But I didn't. It's a common theme with her mom that she has to control everything, and I see why the daddy just be over there with his leg crossed and not saying nothing. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something that is gonna be a reoccurring issue, and I'm gonna need Daniel to get some gumption about himself and be like, "Hey, this is my family."
He's not, because you see who he picked. You see how Taylor snapped on him day one. How patient he is. He's the perfect person for her and that mama because he is very easygoing, just like her mama daddy. That's how he is.
Well, I hope I hope he's not going to be somebody who suffers in silence because we know that story. We know that story all.
Don't give a F.
We know that story all too well. But like I was saying, Daniel, I would love for you to update your Chelsea boot collection and learn how to wear them because I was getting so irritated with him having the pants leg so high up and not over the Chelsea boot. I said, brother, I know you're trying to get a couple of inches on your height because of the Chelsea boots, but let them go. It's over. It just transition to a nice like Chuck Taylor. You got your girl. You ain't gotta pull this off no more. But yeah, I like Daniel and Taylor's relationship, and I wish them nothing but the best. And yeah, I think they'll continue to do well as long as he doesn't just suffer in silence.
Easton, here's the cheat sheet. His mother to work on her mother. That is also the cheat sheet, okay? And his mother is already working on her. We see it. We see it just a little bit. It's early.
She was. I could tell. She definitely was working on her because she knows she crazy. Yeah.
Wait till the kids come out. And fighting over.
That's why. But Easton, that's why his mom said that. When they said the kids come, her mother said, "We gonna be battling for time," and his mother said, we are not. We are all going to be a family. So basically, you're gonna share and you're gonna like it,
and you're gonna get right. Mm-hmm.
Let's hope that works out because I don't know.
The mama a trip, but she ain't gonna be the first or last trip. Everybody be fine. She's a trip though, for sure.
Definitely a trip. I'm definitely agreeing with you on this one. You better set her in motion quickly. But he can't do it. He has to let Taylor do that. So that's actually on Taylor. So Taylor has to take some time and grow into that space.
But sometimes the trips though, the moms, the what is it? The son-in-law, they grow together and end up being best friends. The ones that be the toughest on them, they may end up being legit besties. I can truly see that. I think they'll be okay.
I hope so. I mean, I don't think it's gonna necessarily be. I don't think it's gonna ruin their marriage or anything per se. It's more of a warning. You know what I'm saying? You may have one or two arguments, and it's gonna be because the mom's just doing a bit too much. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just gotta cut out that issue. It doesn't mean cut the mom out, but just let the mom know, like, and this is as far as you can go. You know what I mean? Like, you know. I don't think they're gonna have that because he's got a good set of parents on his side. So I don't feel like he's gonna falter. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But for those of us who are watching, maybe who don't have two sets of good, really decent parents, this thing actually ruins relationships most times because people allow people to do whatever they want to do. But I think because he has a good fence, he has his parents, who have taught him some good things as well, and the way he's able to do it, they're gonna be okay. But in other people's situation, I'll be honest with you, you need to watch out for that woman. In other cases, you really gotta watch out for that woman because you ain't got nothing on your side. You ain't got no one fighting for you.
She
So,
said it.
but
She said it. It's me you have to worry about. She said it.
his mom was like, she ain't having it though. So to be fair, I don't think she'll get far. Once he reports her to his mum, that's it. It's over for her. Mum going to take it up with there. So shout out to him. I guess that's what happens when you have two sets of really good, strong parents as well. So I definitely hear what you guys are saying. You're all in sync. Any other thoughts on Daniel and Taylor? I haven't heard from Sean actually saying that.
Um, yeah, I too think they're gonna be okay. I think they're gonna be just fine. It's normal family dynamics. I think that the mother-in-law trope is showing up, and you just have to, you handle those waters correctly. But I definitely don't think he needs to go in guns a blazing. But the way Daniel orchestrated that photo shoot, and I'm not gonna tell you this, but I'll tell you that. Move here, put your arm here. I think he's very well adjusted at asserting himself, and he seems like he's a little bit of a type A person. Because I could not imagine doing no photo shoot single by myself for 5 years straight. Yeah, God bless him, because I wouldn't have the tolerance to do that as a married person, let alone doing no photo shoot single. So blessings to him. He's going to be just fine. I think, he has the balance of patience and, also just, being able to, say what he wants and knowing how to execute that. I think they'll be fine unless, what's her name? Taylor, unless she has some neurotic jitters and self sabotages once she gets to the altar, because I could see that happening too.
Jay, I don't think I've heard from you about Daniel and Taylor.
I think
She
she
said she's
said in the
MIA.
private chat. I think
Yeah, read
she
it.
had to step away.
Oh, okay, yes, wait, yeah, sorry, apologies, I didn't read the power chat. Thank you guys. All right, cool. Let's move from then. If you haven't got any other thoughts on Daniel and Taylor, I think it was a nice, smooth transition from them. There is obviously one last couple. Save them best to last. Obviously, it is Virginia and it is Devon. Okay, it is the prenup couple. Okay, let's get a prenup. We want prenups. Yeah, something that you need to have. Okay. So the prenup couple, they discussed this. Virginia brought up the prenup, and he said he's okay with it, but then he wanted to get with his family and his attorney, which I think is smart. Don't just sign anything just because someone offered it to you. He checked it with his mom, and his mom said she's okay with it. She's okay with it because you come in, you come in with what you have, and you leave with what you have. That's fine. If you guys make something when you're together, later on you share. And I think that was I think that's a great thing there going forward. And I think that was nice to kind of see. Now, of course, I want to also know about you guys, what you actually really feel about. I don't know what you guys really feel about necessarily their relationship, because I feel like there's something lacking. I just feel like something lacking. I feel like Devon's off a little bit. I feel like Devon's off, and I feel like Virginia's trying to marry for marriage's sake. I don't know. It just gives me a little bit of that. I know that Virginia likes him, but I don't know how much she really likes him. You know what I'm saying? She like, does he really get her going? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my perspective. I want to get you guys' thoughts as well. But yeah, what's your thoughts?
Can Sean go first? Lead the way,
Okay.
King.
Oh Lord, King, Deacon, you've been summoned. The pulpit is yours.
It goes to you, way.
He was probably cooking an icy bass while you called him.
Trying to get my Sunday dinner going. But yeah, I really liked them at first until this episode, and I hate that this had to roll out this way. But as soon as I saw his daddy at that house looking at Virginia, looking like he was looking, I kind of knew we were gonna get here. So it's so unfortunate. But when Virginia was navigating this prenup conversation, I'm not sure what we all have to consider because this is standard. And I'm not sure why he's so nervous when these two know each other for 30 seconds. So this is something that's going to protect both of you. I found it to be quite annoying that he had to get his mommy's approval. I just think that is, I think it's just a little immature. His gonads don't appear to have dropped because we have to have mommy. I have to have my mom looked over it and she's fine, and we got the attorney. It's like, bro, grow a set, please. Like, there's nothing wrong with having an attorney look it over. Maybe you want to get your parents involved, but just the way he's infusing his parents to me, it sounds like every major decision, I'm more concerned about them than I am about Taylor's mother, because he's just oh, my mother was concerned, my mother, my mother, my mother. Yeah, I didn't like that. I'm glad he finally decided to acquiesce. And then they had that whole political conversation, and that was just cringy as hell to listen to them navigate that. I love Virginia's way. She has a great way of introducing difficult topics, and I think he doesn't he's not that two people have to be the same, but he's not on her level. Very unfortunate. She hit him with the we don't want to hurt your we don't want to hurt your basketball empire. I love the way she helped him through that conversation. But them having that conversation about conservatism, them talking about his parents' views, I hope that's telling her everything she needs to know. But I think, to your earlier point, Kojo, I fear that she may want to be married more than she's understanding that these two are not aligned, because she made some valid points when they were laying down and having that very deep conversation. And if she would have never introduced it, he would have never had it. And that's the scary part. He would have never talked about those things because he didn't want to go there. And those types of people are surface people. They don't want to go too deep on certain things because they know what the outcome's going to be. And I fear he's hiding a lot of things. So that's my sentiment.
I'm going to have to kind of push a little bit on the good deacon tonight. Um, he said he wanted a family attorney. He wanted his mother, and he wanted, I guess, a trusted family friend or a trusted friend to look at it. I don't care who his village comprises of. If Devin needs to go talk to different people to help him make a decision, that's fine. I mean, the way you're like, oh, he had to go to his mommy. It's like, if his mother is one of his confidants, that is fine. I certainly, in my grown age, my grandfather was still around. Even when I was grown, I would go to him. I would use my resources of family as much as possible. The other thing is the mother is the matriarch. The mother, no, the mother, the sister, the dad, go to the mom, talk about it. You talk about mom. Mom then kind of like fizzles out the family, de-escalates the family, and says, y'all need to pipe down, and she's on your side. This does not mean Devin didn't make his own decision. He took it all in. He did do a lawyer. He did his mother and a trusted family friend. It is okay to go to people in your circle that you trust. And I'm not going to discount the young man for going, and his mother's one of his trusted people. I'm sorry. It just for me is kind of just a squeaky of patriarchy, just a squeak of it, because I'm like, he can't go. I don't care if he went to his third grade teacher. I don't care. The fact is that he took in information. He didn't just say flat out no. He wasn't closed minded. It is something we don't talk a lot. Many African American families don't always talk prenup. So if this is what he needs to make his decision, and he made the right decision. So for his marriage. So if he wants to speak to his mother as part of this circle, I am okay with it. It's just when you get into people who give you bad advice and digging at your relationship, fine. That's where it becomes really, really bad. But I have no problem with the circle of people. He said it sounds balanced. It sounds mature. It's like, okay, the lawyer, someone within the family, and a trusted friend. These are all very measured voices. I'm not going to discount him for and talk about it like his mother, it couldn't be a trusted confidant in this conversation. But for them, her voice changed when her mother was around. Her voice completely got deep. She got bass in her voice talking to her mom. And I was like, ooh, girl. So you playing that high pitch around Devin. You're playing possum for Devin. Are you playing possum till he signed that prenup? But there's something about them that is a disconnect. Here comes another man, from I hope giving that golden ball isn't synonymous of giving her your actual balls. But Devin, there's something there that just, I wonder if he's intimidated because they're not evenly yoked. I wonder if he's intimidated. She is a doctor and she is managing a hospital administration. I'm wondering if that is the case, but I don't think they really should get together. But I'm very proud of him for having that prenup conversation with her. I'm proud of him. We signed it. We talk about it. That part of it I'm proud of, and we move forward. And I'm sorry, my little dirty mind, Virginia, when you said champagne room, I was not thinking an actual champagne room, Virginia. I was like, oh, finally Virginia had some spice, but it was a false alarm. It was a false alarm. But yeah, there's something there. I really don't think they're going to get married on decision on their wedding day.
I'm not going to give my opinion, but I just want to say, Elsa, I think you're being a little bit obtuse about this situation as far as him going to his mom. It wasn't the fact that he went to his mom, his dad, Barney, his sister, his neighbor, the lady down the street. It was the fact that after he did all that, he came back and says, my mommy says that she looked it over and she agrees, so I'm okay with it. That is what made him look like a 5-year-old. I don't care that he asked his mom to look at it. But when you come back and say, my mommy says that it's okay, so it's okay with me, the F, you're a grown man. You want a grown man to come to you, Elsa, to be like, my mommy says that it was
doesn't matter
okay.
about who.
It doesn't matter if I go to my granddad or go to my dad and I come back and say my dad said this is okay. It would certainly be accepted.
Oh, well, not, yeah. That's okay. A little weird to me. It's okay. A little weird to me.
Again, I love how we are really big on dismantling the patriarchy until it comes to a situation like this where we want a man to have it all together, have all the bells and whistles, and maybe even we're a little bit critical of who he finds tutelage or gets advice from.
What does that have to do with the patriarchy? I'm talking about, I would say the same thing about a woman. If a woman says, my daddy
I'm going to my dad before anything, you're like, oh,
that's problematic. Okay. My daddy says that the prenup is okay.
That ain't gonna go the same way as if
it's the exact same thing. If I'm a grown woman talking about what my daddy says.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
Now,
look. We in 2025. We ain't got a cap. We ain't got a cap on these panels. You know that, right?
I'm not capped. Now, one thing about me, Easton, is when do I have to cap and who am I capping for? I'm never doing that. I'm being dead serious. If it was a woman saying this, I would also look at her like, why do you need your dad's approval for it? Unless you're telling me your dad is the lawyer. Because that's what I do for my mom, because she's a doctor. I'll say, hey, my mother said X, Y, and Z because her expertise is in the medical profession. If my family member was in the legal profession, I would say, hey, my dad or mom said that it looks good to me, so it's straight. But if I'm just asking my trailer park adjacent mama down to that house,
see, you don't know what the mama do. Like, what are you talking about? We don't know what she does.
I'm gonna make an assumption. I don't know what that mama do.
Look,
but she don't look like she specializes in contracts. I can tell you that.
She trains the family pig, Seaway. That's her.
Oh, maybe that.
All right. I see that this isn't gonna go any particular way. This isn't gonna go particularly well. I love again how Virginia, the I guess prenup talk is interesting, especially considering that the power dynamic has shifted in terms of Virginia is the one presenting it, where typically, men typically ask women. But it's beautiful that, Virginia is doing extremely well, whether it be with her assets or her job and all of her accomplishments, and she's protecting them. And so it's a conversation that we don't have, one, and two, we don't have in this essence of the power dynamic and how it's been shifted in a way. So I applaud Virginia how she did frame it, how she did kind of work him and talk him through it, and she used her high pitched soft voice and was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to protect your empire and this, that, and the third." And I also applaud Devin for somebody who doesn't. I just trying to pull myself back from it and be like, Devin, going into a situation where you are out educated, probably out fun. She's probably is killing you in the financial department. He didn't know what a champagne room was. Not saying that you have to know what a champagne room is, but it seemed like to me he could have gone in that situation very ignorant and maybe had a bit of an ego and not said, hey, let me go back and talk to people or talk to my village or talk to some experts and get all the right information before I come into talking to you about this and like gather all this stuff up to form a great decision. I applaud him on that because some guys would have been like, what do we need a prenup for? Are you talking to, I don't think a lot of guys, especially at 29, would have handled it with the way that he did. So I applaud to both of them. The date with her mom was really interesting, especially how defensive she got when she said she's stubborn and it's her way, or like she's hard-headed and stubborn. I think that there's a little bit more to that. And Virginia, I think, wants to get married, so she's kind of like playing the game. I know that she has the ability to do so, especially how she talks to him and how she's like yes and okay, and it just both of them seem a little bit off. I think that Devin is trying to get over his own insecurities, which everybody does in their relationship, and I think that Virginia is also trying to get over her insecurities, and not to be in my misogynistic bag, but I don't know if that maybe this might be a textbook case where you should try to achieve and try to supersede your significant other in terms of financial capabilities, because I think that the dynamic is a little bit off because of that. I think that Virginia feels a particular type of way and Devin feels a particular type of way because he isn't making enough money. I think he's very insecure because of that, and on that front from an educational and financial standpoint. And I think that, so I will wonder if she would ask for a prenup if he was making more or was more educated than she was. I would lean probably not, but hey, I'm not going to make those, I'm not going to boldly claim those assumptions like others.
Who's the others? Was that a dig at me? What are you saying?
Hey, if the shoe fits, twin. If the shoe
Look, I'm not
Well,
gonna go ahead, Sean. Because
yeah,
I'll
no,
give you
I just think that's a moot point because people get prenups when they have something to protect. So if she didn't have anything to protect, perhaps she wouldn't get a prenup. Like, yeah, she has things to protect, so she wants to get a prenup. So,
but I'm saying that the dynamic between Devin making less and being less educated than her, if he was superseding, even if she does have assets to protect, I don't think that the conversation would come up as quickly. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me because typically we see men leading the conversation because they have something to protect. So they want a prenup when they get married, especially when the woman has less, they're going to request a prenup. In the situation where the man doesn't have as much as the woman, or maybe they're both like on the same page, you might not have a prenup conversation come into play. I think it's done to protect your assets, to protect the things you go into it with. Now, nowadays, people are just talking about it in general. It's more, it's more even widely talked about in a lot of situations, but I don't think it's a big deal. Like if Virginia went into it and she had less money, it's nothing to state. Like it's not even an issue. If she had less money and she was getting married to him and she felt like there was nothing she needed to protect, then she doesn't have to have a prenup conversation, and it's not even a relevant thing to talk about. And the same for him, or the flip flop. People have these conversations when they're considering things that need to be protected. People need to stop getting all twisted and stressed out because somebody puts a prenup in front of them when they're getting married, because look at the divorce rate, it's high. Being a person that was divorced, I understand that. I didn't have a prenup. Thankfully, we were able to exit our marriage, very amicably, but that's not the experience for a lot of people. So it's just something we got to talk about.
And yes, I agree with Sean. And I didn't really give my opinion. I had just gave a response. People are asking what she's doing. Virginia has a doctorate. I think she does healthcare administration. I think she's like over a hospital, which is a pretty good job. She has a doctorate. I don't subscribe to calling her a doctor though. That's yeah, but yeah, she has a doctorate. What I will say is that what I'm seeing with Virginia and Devin is the fact that, you know, the important conversations matter, and you know, you have to sometimes pull yourself back from wanting to be together so bad that you don't have the important conversations. I actually recall being a little annoyed that she kept on in the bed. She kept on saying, "Do we have anything else to talk about? Do we have anything else to talk about?" I want to be like, "Girl, no, go to sleep." But she kept on pushing it, and then we got to the fact that he was hiding the fact that he was a Trumper, like a bad HIV result. And so I'm really glad that we got to the bottom of that, because these conversations are very, very important. And I think if Virginia's kind of spent less time with her baby voice, and he spent less time trying to hide all the tea that he has going on with that conservative Uncle Ruckus father and whatever his mama got going on and whatever his views are, I think they probably would have figured out that they are not, I would say, the most equally yoked from the beginning, on top of the fact that they just have literally zero chemistry. I mean, they just spend the whole time just talking about things. They just don't seem like they have a lot of chemistry. And so, yeah, I guess I wish them the best. But I really hope that Virginia and Devin say no. I think one of them will definitely say no. Honestly, surprisingly, I think the person who's going to say no is probably going to be Devin. And that may surprise a lot of people. But I feel like Virginia is kind of seeing the red flags and then bypassing them. Even though, like, kind of the same way as, what's her name? The one who did it with Ben? What's her name? The one with Ben, Sarah. Yeah,
Sarah.
It seems like Virginia and Sarah are both operating from the same school. And y'all, I need y'all to use y'all context clues. We're literally talking about, he literally told us that his family is conservative. Then she says, so are we going to vote the same way at the ballot box, after talking about how literally this current party overturned women's rights to their own reproduction system? And then he said, well, if we don't vote the same, are you cool? So wouldn't that mean, if we're just actually using our reasoning, that he's a Trumper? It's really not hard to figure out.
Also, see where she said she was Democrat.
Yeah, and she said she was Democrat. She talked about how the fact that literally our women's rights to our own reproduction system have been taken by this current party, and she wouldn't vote for that. And he says, so is it okay that I vote differently? The F. And the craziest part is, it's always, I love this season of Love is Blind, because we're also seeing how it's always the broke people who be the most conservative. You're conserving what? You don't have any money.
Now, Seaway.
Not Seaway what?
This is it ain't even about money at this point. I don't think I think we're projected. We don't know what their situation is.
Did you just hear what I just said?
You said it's always the broke people.
Did you hear what I just said? You said, I don't know what his situation is. I'm going off of what he said and what she said. So what more information do you want? Do you want him to go in and tell you I voted for him? Because he won't. Because people who do stuff like that like to keep it a secret. Like I said, like a bad HIV result. So if you're waiting for him to tell you that, he's not going to tell you, because he knows his dad is an Uncle Ruckus. He married that white lady, and he ain't far from it either. I'm actually surprised he even went Virginia, to be honest. And can you imagine if he got with B. Dot? Oh my God.
Well, that's why he didn't pick. I mean, this episode gave me clear reason why he didn't go, why he was quiet, why he didn't say nothing when I said, okay, I applaud that. You said you don't deal with that, and it's more religious. It told me everything I needed to know. He leans more conservative. Why? Because of religious reasons. And to me, that seemed a clear enough answer to me. Again, I think we have to do better jobs from all political lenses, but I'm just assuming with our group, how we tend to lean towards in terms of our messaging, because we don't want to ostracize people, and what we tend to do is ostracize people in our messaging, and that pushes them more further and further away, much like the church in the LGBTQ community, et cetera, et cetera. And so I don't want us to get into that place with politics as well.
Yeah, it's really easy, I find, for men to say that, is that you're talking about who we're ostracizing when you don't have to worry about your reproductive rights because you don't have anything that's being controlled and regulated. So you sit up there like many white men and tell me what to think and what to say because it doesn't affect you. And
Granted.
So I find that that's what men like to do. We shouldn't ostracize people because it doesn't affect you.
No, we lost. We lost.
No, did we lose? Did we lose? Because last time I checked, you don't have a uterus, and you clearly don't give a F. Because the people with the uterus,
we lost the election.
Care.
What are you talking about, Seaway?
I know, but
we lost. It was a clean sweep across the board.
You're speaking from a place of privilege about what people should be thinking.
No, what I'm saying is what I'm saying is the same way that we're making again tons of assumptions and tons of thoughts around Devin and how his family votes or how his ideologies and stuff are. I'm saying that clearly what we did wrong in our messaging, and this is something that
we're not going here. We're not going to blame the messaging. We're not going to blame it on messaging. People chose what they chose, and people did what they did.
Okay.
And so that just is what it is. And I'm not assuming anything. I'm going off of what was said. And she talked about how important it is that women have the right to choose. And his response is that, well, is it okay that we vote differently?
No, that wasn't his response. His response was, what about the religion? Also, what if the father had a choice?
that wasn't the direct response.
Yes, it was.
She said, are we gonna vote? Are we gonna vote the same about that? And
when did he talk about his religion, about religion?
That was afterwards when she says, well,
is that another response?
Yes, it was afterwards, and she says typically Black people are Republican or Democrat, and he goes, well, I'm Black, and we typically vote conservative, and we vote conservative because of our religious values. Those were the sequence of events.
Now, can we also acknowledge this is an edited show, and it could be spliced and diced the conversation, but he did say it out of his mouth in a conversation. She did say Democrat. He did say we could be voted differently. We don't know if he actually voted differently, but the connotation is there that he could have voted differently. So again, to kind of comment whether Kojo wants to go to the tape or not, he brought up we may be voting differently. We may be on opposite sides of a conversation on what she brought up. And this could be why he probably like, no, there ain't nothing else for us to talk about. But thank you, C. Wade. This is why this season of Love is Blind, people saying it's boring. But again, this is some real hard-hitting conversations that need to be had.
No, I agree on that. There's a lot of hard-hitting issues. And for me, if we're having these type of debates about fundamental things like that, then I don't know how two people who are supposed to be married and walking together can have these type of debates. And so I suggest that, they go their separate ways, because this type of stuff is very serious. It's very, very serious. And so if there's any gray area on it, I fear that you're not aligned. This is more than politics. This is 2025. This ain't about politics no more. We done left politics. I don't know. George Bush was the last time stuff was about politics. This is about people's fundamental human rights. And so if there's any issues there, then I think they need to move differently. But we're going to see.
Yeah, they're not meant for each other, but it's okay.
Well, that was interesting. Say that it was very interesting to hear you guys' perspectives on that, and I guess that's why it's very difficult to be in situations where there are two ideological political parties within this situation. I would say, if any, I mean, obviously these situations are very difficult. I would always say as well that people should also. One thing I found about politics in any country is that if people don't read up on people's policies, there's no point having an argument, because many times when people argue about politics, they argue from an emotional place and not policies. So if anybody, and I'm not saying about my panel, but I'm not talking about any you two, I'm just saying in general, for anybody who's going to date anybody in future, if you're going to have an argument with someone about politics, you should be fighting first and foremost about policies. What are the policies first and foremost? Because otherwise you're just gonna be fighting. You're gonna be fighting emotions, and it just leaves you down a path of I hate you, I don't like you, you're this, you're that. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So everyone should always make sure they're doing their research in terms of what their actual policies are. Because if I ask you a question why you voted and you can't tell me a policy, then it's an emotional decision. It's based upon whatever they told you on TV, but not what you actually went to research. And this is how people get caught up. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So if anybody out there, you know what I'm saying, because I know politics is a very charged conversation. I don't tend to have conversations in politics, if I'm honest with you, I don't. But I understand the importance of it for a lot of people. And so I'll just say, if you're in politics, hey, make sure you know the policies so that, you know, you're informed and you know what you're on. You know what I'm saying, Chu? The rest of us probably need to be a bit more educated. You know what I mean? So, yes, Sean, go for it.
I love that you said that, and I think, unfortunately, um, you know, we don't necessarily have the time to expand out. And I think that Seaway's point was just that, because people have used conservatism from the emotional standpoint, or not emotional, but they've used that word as a veil to really mean a whole lot of other things, because the policies that sit underneath conservatism don't benefit us as people of color. They don't benefit us. Matter of fact, scratch people of color as black people, you know, because a lot of these terms get misused, mislabeled, and they become veils for other things. And I think now where we sit in the United States, that's the consequences of people being able to use these blanket statements, but not really understanding what's underneath it. And for anybody that has a countering opinion that's listening, I was a political science major. So I very well understand, took 4 years, did massive research. So I understand politics and I understand its consequences. And unfortunately, I've had to have a lot of tough conversations with people in my life, and a lot of people are having those conversations. So I'm glad that Virginia and Devin had it um, during 2024, and now here we are in 2025. So I think a lot of people, it's a little triggering because it's like, oh, this is why we're here now, because people feel comfortable sitting in this gray space. People feel comfortable saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian and I vote this way, and this is why." But what are the policies, right? What are the policies of that party, and are they really Christian, or is that just a veil to pull people in one direction or the other? So I just feel like it is very important that people talk through these things. I'm glad that they did it. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. These two are on very different pages. But I want people to really just sit down and wrestle with what are the consequences of your decisions. What when you vote, it matters. And as a couple, you can't be on two different sides. I'm sorry. I can't vote this way and you vote that way. We're not aligned. It's not just politics, it's our life. It's things that affect how we move and navigate. So I it can't work that way. The same way that somebody can't be going to church and the other person sits at home. It's a recipe for disaster, and it sows discord in relationships.
Absolutely, and I think actually, do you know what Smiles has kind of encapsulated? I think that's because and I think that's where it comes in, is that a lot of people don't understand the implications of politics. And I'll be honest with you, I don't. I'll be honest with you. If I'm in the UK, I don't. If I'm honest with you, I do not discuss politics. Hey, if you ask me who I'm voting for, I'll tell you I don't care, because either way, I always get hit with the implications on both sides, and both sides from a UK perspective, it's very different from US. By the way, again, there are racial charges in the UK, but it's very different in system. But You know, for me, the person's like, listen, whichever one comes, they none of them serve Jesus. If they don't serve Jesus, it's probably not going to be my best interest. So I better give myself into as much possible what God wants me to do next. You know what I'm saying to you? But I also understand that because I don't understand all the implications, maybe that's why I'm not as passionate about it. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's about education. If I'm honest with you, I think a lot of people just need to be more educated on it to be able to make actual educated guesses. So sometimes that's why I was saying that everyone needs to be educated, because sometimes we get angry at people what they're voting, but they're not educated. It's like it's like getting angry at people who don't follow Jesus. When you actually really look at it, most people don't actually know who Jesus is. They ain't being educated on it. So being angry at them, it's not gonna work for us, because they don't actually understand the implications of the weight of their decision making. So sometimes people vote things emotionally, and so that's why I agree with what you're saying, Sean, and Seaway as well. In that aspect, there is a lot that is happening, but it's because a lot of people are just not educated in the implications of what this decision means, what that means. It's too much information or it's too much jargon, and that's why news becomes a war front, because the news will dilute it to a place where it makes it this and that without necessarily bringing full on implications and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely hearing what you guys are saying. Maybe that's a conversation offline. Maybe that's the 100 Club or something. You know what I'm saying to you? You know what I mean? When we do it offline and we have it behind the scenes so that we can actually have an educated conversation. It probably isn't one for online. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So, but
I don't even know if you can have that, because unfortunately, I think the F around and find out right now is real for a lot of people, and a lot of people are going through a lot of things. I'm talking about like losing real jobs, even people who may have voted one way that didn't work out for them, and so it's kind of hard to have these conversations. What do you call from a what is it, 1,000? What do you call it? 1,000-foot view from like a talking. Yeah, or like 1,000, whatever I'm trying to say, because I think the reality of things, unfortunately, are very real for a lot of people, and it's not like it used to be, and maybe how like you're describing in the UK. I think there was a time where how you kind of described is more similar to how it used to be, but I mean now it's just it's very hard for a lot of people to have these type of conversations without extreme emotions, because you're talking about real life consequences, homelessness, losing job. I mean, like it's real. It's real, unfortunately. So there's that.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think again, but I think the difficulty is it's a bit like, do you care about Africa? You won't, because you're separated from it. Even if you care about the black people, you don't care about Africa like that. I don't. Let's be honest. And it's a full. When I say care, as in your whole life and ethos. This is what I was saying about Sarah. Your whole life and ethos should change. Like, for instance, I shouldn't buy chocolate here because it's not fair trade.
Right.
Cadbury's be taking the money and stealing, but we don't. And so until someone's educated to a point where they care about you and I, Seaway, or me, you, Sean, Easton, El Cid, Jay, until they care about the people. Honestly, if when we're having that conversation, and we want to tell them how, we have to show them the implications, but we also have to educate. Without it, they honestly won't care, because it's like putting an African kid on a screen and going, care about Africa.
You gotta
look at it and you're like, I've got other things.
You gotta see it, you gotta read it, and then a lot of times you gotta feel it. And as long as it feels very far away, and that's why they say a lot of times things have to get worse before it gets better. Unfortunately, in human nature, a lot of times we have to feel things. There's definitely some of us who learn from other people's mistakes, and we talk about that on the channel. We'll be like, I ain't trying to do it. I see it from over there. But I would say a lot of people have to feel. They have to feel. Until they feel, they won't understand. And sometimes that's just the cookie is, what they say, the script is already written, and we're just living it. So. But I do think Devin and Virginia definitely are a good example of these type of conversations and how different upbringings can affect your dating and just the questions, because I make the jokes about his dad being Uncle Ruckus and the white mama, but it's not necessarily just that. I mean, you have to have conversations with everybody. You never know how people stand and, like where they, so you have to ask these tough. You have to have these combos, and I do commend them for at least having the conversation. I don't think Devin was as forthcoming as he could have been, but he did come out and say, some things. And so I will say good for them for having the conversation.
Love that point. Listen, You guys have discussed this well, and I think it just shows again this maybe this season was it's a bit different than the other seasons that have been, because I think there were greater aspects to relationships that maybe compatibility wise that have been explored in this episode. And it's very funny that we're ending on this particular point of conversations in terms of politics, because it's a part of compatibility. And it's funny because obviously we're looking at Devon and Virginia, and relationships that are going to have long-standing success come from being in places where we are discussing our compatibilities. So not necessarily our likes and dislikes, which can be, you can have your likes and I can have my dislikes, but actually, like you're just saying, Seaway, Sean, and Easton's added, Elsa's added as well, that there are some compatibility stuff that actually needs to be discussed before you get deeper into a relationship, to see if we're going to be going in two different directions. The Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? You know what I mean? So like that, as much as politics is charged, it is one of those important things for people and should be discussed, because obviously if you feel passionate about it, it depends how deep you are as well, because some people are not very deep. So if you're very deep and passionate about politics, and you really are caring about your vote and where it's going to, then you're going to have to choose someone who also is going to align with that perspective. If you're a Christian, with Ben and Sarah, we saw this. If you're a Christian and you really are about Christ, or you're about your church life, you're going to have to choose somebody who fits, aligning that compatibility wise. Choosing somebody who isn't fitting that narrative, trying to say I can be okay with it when you're deep in it, will never work for you long term, because you go in two different directions, which is what Sean was eloquating in that way. And I think that is a tough one, as well. So there are deep, like I said, this is a deeper issue. This season has highlighted deeper issues and how hard it can be to discuss deeper issues. Even now, as we're having our conversation, it's deep, it's difficult, it's not easy necessarily to have that conversation. So yes, I love the fact you said that you commend them for having that conversation, because let's be honest, having that conversation online ain't the one. Because as soon as we heard that he might be a Trumper, we're on his neck. So he's not going to be able to explain himself. He's never going to be able to explain it. He's never going to explain why he made those choices, why he chose that thing, because immediately we're going to say his dad is this, his mom is that, he's that, and immediately he's ostracized. So we actually can't have the conversation. So that's why I'm saying that we need to be able to be open, that even if I don't like what you chose, I don't like that you chose that, but I'm going to be willing to listen to what your point of view is. You know what I mean? Then I can see if really if you're tapped or not, or if I need to then ostracize you. You know what I mean? So I can understand how difficult that conversation would have been for him and for Virginia, and I can understand where Virginia's coming from. Now, if she finds out that he voted differently and she's really passionate about politics, she gonna need to go her different way, because there's no point marrying this man and he gonna vote something completely different to you. Ain't gonna work. But listen, I'm doing my wrong job. This is not my job. This is Sean's job. So I need to get out of the pulpit. Okay, I need to get out of the pulpit and let Mr. Davis take control of the microphone. Mr. Davis, if you'd like to step up to the pulpit, please. We need you to do your job.
Well, I think you did a great job with a good pre benediction, and I think the major lesson learned on a lot of different fronts is alignment, and the importance of being aligned with your partner, and not ignoring those red flags. So often in relationships, we see the flags, we see the signs as we drive down the road, but when we ignore those signs, it could definitely take us on a detour, or we could have a full-on accident. And those are not things that we want to have happen in our relationship. So make sure that you are paying attention to the signs that are coming your way, having tough conversations, talking about the hard things, and making sure that you are aligned and on the same page with your partner on a variety of fronts, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's who they should be sleeping with before and after. All of those things need to be aligned. And if you're not, get out soon before it's too late. Back to you, Kojo.
Yes, get out before it's too late. Indeed, Sean. Absolutely right. Listen, audience, it has been an amazing conversation. Look, and I'm sure there's going to be more in the next few weeks as well. I'm sure that with, Love is Blind, there's going to be more difficult conversations that are going to come about as well, right? But the most important thing I think we should all take from this is, please stay true to your your values as well. We don't need to compromise them to make someone love you or to stay with somebody. We want to make sure that you're staying true to you. So listen, we're gonna love you, we're gonna leave you. You know, we're gonna be blessed, and we look forward to next week. We chopping it up with y'all again once more. We're at the same time again, 5:25 p.m. EST, and we'll go again. Shout out to Temi A, who also sent a little super chat and said, Devon and Virginia don't have the same value systems, and I think that's a great way to end the show because she's speaking the truth of what we have just spoken about. Shout out to Kablu as well, who joined the members as well. Remember, I will be chopping up the videos and I'll put some of them into the members only. So if you're not a member, you won't be able to see the shortened version. You'd have to watch it all the way through. But for those of us who are members, listen, welcome again to Mineral Gang. You already know what it is. It's going to be a great year ahead of us, and we are looking forward into March. And we pray the Lord will do even greater things. Yes, I appreciate you. Stay locked, Senator. I'll leave you with a little video. And we gonna be out. Okay? We're gonna be out. Okay. Let me play my little clip.
I bet you could. But no.
Alright, goodbye, guys.
Are you done? Are you done?
Little black boy, you know what time it is.